At night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 250 miles above your imagination from the International Fake Station. I'm up here with my good friend and co-pilot, Something Wong, who is here to make sure we fly straight and level, keep the bong packed, and, other good things. So, wow, what a crazy week. Had all kinds of world events happening. Our good friend Lowry contacted me earlier and said he wanted to come up and talk about some of the things that have happened throughout the week as well. I had Mojo Shop, who's in the chat right now. He stopped by with his friend on the way to back home the other night, and we had a really good visit. That seemed pretty cool. They were pretty tired, been road weary. Luckily, they got a place. I understand they had got a place up. The way it sounded was up near Winchester, but it could have been up near the Breezewood exit. I'm not sure, but keep us posted on that. I was a little worried about that. Anyway, what else? Who else? Oh, excuse me. I took this killer huge bong hit. You might notice this round circular thing we got going on here. It's because of StreamYard has added gravity to their platform, and so now it's causing the windows to all come up into circles, which is kind of wild, right? I don't know, go figure. So it's pretty crazy that gravity has that effect. So anyway, who we got? There's Mojo Shop right there. We got Roger Ledwell's here with us. What's happening, Roger? Hey, Raj, what's happening? You remember that show, What's Happening? That was crazy. I used to watch that. Saddle Bum. We got Brad and Tasha's in here with us. Moose and Squitter. Half Warriors with us. What's happening, bro? We got Post Anything too. We've got Saddle Bum, Chicago Cubby Bear, NBD, Eldon Bean. There's Lowry. Where you at, Lowry? You're supposed to come up and tell us some stories. But anyways, wow, what a really weird week, right? We just got back to Norfolk. What's that? An hour ago. Thanks again. Had an awesome weekend. Norfolk. Okay. All right. Yeah. Everybody, let's see. Saddle Bum. Did I miss anybody? Next chapter. Tiffany Vinci here as well. We're getting all these people are piling in on us. Mike Finnan. So we're like the world's at war. We're well into the bird flu summit in Washington, D.C. Haven't heard much about that in the media. Of course, we didn't hear about Event 201 a whole lot in the media also, but just keeping our eyes, heads on a swivel here and keeping track of what happens. Meanwhile, I get information that the Middle East is a burning shithole now. There's all kinds of, they're testing them. Say, okay, go try your Samson option. Let's see how that works out for you. It's not working out well for Israel, from what I understand. Propaganda mill is well into swing. And then, of course, we've got the disaster with the hurricane here on the east coast of the United States, primarily around in Tennessee, North Carolina, of course, all up through there. And the allegations of the manipulation of the weather, possibly for gaining rights to the land where there is serious lithium deposits and quartz deposits. So I don't know. I'm going to show you some stuff that I found in the last couple of days. It's compelling for thought. If any of you have heard anything as well, come on up. If you've been to Flattoberfest, I want to give those people a shout out. Wow, what a thing to do. Despite the hurricane, these people set up on the lawn of a Hampton Inn and had their Flat Earth convention any damn way, despite Helene. And I thought that was pretty cool. I guess Mojo went in there. He set up his sound system, had a generator with him, and they were able to have the music and speakers. Whereas the other sound system that was scheduled was actually delayed and not set up yet because of the hurricane conditions and downed trees over roads and everything else. Myself, of course, I wasn't there, but despite all the adversities, they were still able to hold it. But I'm sure there were many that weren't able to make it because of the storm. That's going to be a bummer, So I don't know. We'll see how all that plays out. What was I going to get over here and show you? This was something interesting that we found here. This was from the Daily Mail, and it was posted on the 25th of March of this year, and it's really interesting. Check this out. The tiny backwater town in North Carolina will help fuel world's AI revolution with enough quartz to power entire $530 billion semiconductor global industry. Now, these people said, no, we don't want the mine. We don't want the mine. Oh, really? Y'all don't want the mine? Well, we'll show you. Now, I know there's a lot of people, not as many as there used to be, but people are getting to know that weather is engineered, weather is manipulated, and they do manipulate it for strategic reasons, whether it be in regular warfare or whether it's warfare against your people. It's also a clandestine way to attack and then make it like a false flag, blaming it on God. Basically, it's kind of fucked, But people have been finding evidence of weather manipulation as far as this hurricane is concerned, and this is really interesting here too. Okay, so there was these blue gel balls, and I know this. Bear with me. This video is like about 5.5 minutes long. Bear with me with this thing. Watch this. It's interesting, and it's not conclusive of anything, but it's still is compelling. If you can dig where I'm coming from with that. Well, wait, I didn't tell you to start talking yet, lady. Okay. I'm the director here, and when I say talk, then you talk. Okay, that's just how it goes. So let me bring this back up. Boom, boom, boom. There we go.
And I have some mind-blowing dot connecting about Hurricane Helene. I'm going to start here. This lady sent this picture from South Africa. You all know I covered the blob anomaly and South Africa's crazy weather. These blue jelly balls were raining on this lady's parents. She asked me to look into this. Here's how this went. And trust me, it links back to this, and it's mind-blowing. I start to look into the jelly balls. Knowing it's not a craft project raining from the sky, I move on. I find that this is not the first time that blue jelly balls have been raining from the sky. This was 2012. We'll get back to that. I came across this. Blue jelly balls look kind of similar, and this is talking about how we could be drinking from water bottles made of these like gummy balls. Sounds charming? Let's move on. Thank goodness scientists looked into this and found out it was not marine eggs. These jelly blue balls raining from the sky were made of sodium polyacrylate. So I find out that polyacrylate has an impact on temperature, and it can be used for cooling and reflecting. It is not biodegradable and doesn't decompose quickly in nature, which is a little concerning if it's raining from the sky. So I go back to looking for anything that looked like a jelly blue ball that might rain from the sky, and I found this. This is droplet mixing with a piezoelectric transducer. Piezoelectric transducers are a type of electroacoustic sound transducer that converts the electrical charges produced by some forms of solid material into energy. It is energy related.
All right, I already know a bunch of you are putting the fucking dots together right now, right? Hey, what's going on, Mike? There's Mike from Truthers Hour of Comedy. He's hanging out in the thing. What's going on, brother? Had a great time on Reefer Roulette last night. That was a great show. Good topics, man. You guys got to join that if you haven't yet. Lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Just get baked and pull up the topics, man. Thanks, man. You too, bro. You too, brother. What's it stupid? What's it stupid? It. Who the F do they think they are judging their fellows? Well, they think they're judgmental. There's Lowry. What's going on?
Man,
We'll get through this thing here in just a second. And I want to hear what you think about this if you're putting these dots together, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, what does this have to do with my blue rainy jelly balls? Cloud seeding. While piezoelectric devices are not directly used for cloud seeding, they can contribute to the technology by helping control or monitor dispersal of the seeding materials like silver iodide, ultrasonic devices. Again, we have a sound element here. They may use piezoelectric transducers to create sound waves that can influence cloud formation and precipitation. Would you look at those jelly blue balls? Things you never thought you'd say. There's a sciencey description here of how they're intertwined, but importantly, these hydrophilic polymers can absorb large amounts of water. And you're thinking probably right now, what's this got to do with Hurricane Helene? Trust me. So we're energy harvesting. Now, in my video last night, I included lithium mining. I tread carefully there because I had a video banned. Now, here's the important thing, okay? The combination of piezoelectric transducers with blue polyacrylate hydrogels creates innovative solutions for sensing and energy harvesting applications. Again, with the energy harvesting, trust me, this gets better. Here's where a big lightning bulb went off. So this kind of magical property of converting energy from one source into something else that's usable occurs in certain materials, like quartz. Hold that thought. Again, we all know there's loads of lithium out there. Well, did you know there's a ton of quartz, like $530 billion worth of quartz? You may be aware that the growing use of AI is going to require a staggering amount of power. Well, it turns out that quartz, while not powering AI directly, has properties that enable the hardware that powers AI to function effectively. Okay, we're going to go back to sound now. Another message from South Africa about hearing a strange humming and sound pulsing. Well, guess what else has been heard in some of these freaky storms?
Kara, what does that mean?
What? Well, we know it's sound. So, from the comments, I quickly gathered that this sounds like an instrument called a shofar. Here's what that sounds like. Definitely very similar. Wrapping this journey that we've just been on, thanks to the jelly blue balls, some experimental weather modification techniques involve ultrasonic devices, which may use piezoelectric transducers to create sound waves that can influence cloud formation and precipitation. Is this large presence of quartz a dot we need to connect? Is the lithium a dot we need to connect?
Yeah, man.
The sound? Are the jelly blue balls involved? This concludes this deep dive for now. Anyone interested in emergency communications, see my playlist, Hurricane Comms, for how to get started and how to use radio in an emergency. And hey, while you're at it, get your ham radio license. I'll see you in the comments. Take care.
So they wanted to land in paradise, so they got rid of it. They wanted to land in Lahaina, so they got rid of the people. They wanted to land where this quartz and lithium is at, so they got rid of the people. Dude, this is too fucking coincidental, man.
It's curious, isn't it?
Wake up and see it. Yeah.
It's curious. I was look, Karen actually corrected some of the stuff today. So Kings Mountain is near where she lives. That mine has always been there. They didn't get any, there was never any flooding there. So I think Greg Reese over at InfoWars might have incorrectly crossed information. There was nothing at that spot. However, the deposit apparently runs up through that vein, up through Asheville. So like, it's really, we got to be really careful about like the facts. In other words, is there more of a deposit up near Asheville? Possibly. Kings Mountain did not get flooded because that's right next to Karen. So we got to make sure we get the facts really close. I'll tell you, just for the sake of like what being there and what it looked like and like what happened, was super curious. I don't know if like a lot of people on here follow Dutch Sense or Into Thin Air. These guys just look at radar all day. They just hyper focus on radar, and they caught anomalies of what it would appear to be. It appears to be some sort of Doppler transmission into the front end of what you would call the spinning weather situation. In other words, they were heating up the front side of it, where you know, obviously on if you're looking at it from down, the right side of the spin is the more violent than say the left side, right? They were heating up what it looked like. This is what it looked like on radar. I mean, we're talking in the days of AI, we can't believe anything, but it looks like there were anomalies on the right side to heat that up, which on its face value, you're like, okay, well, that could be faked, whatever. However, the thing that was really interesting to me, having been there and in it, was firstly, they didn't know about the storm until it was flat south of Cuba. That's not correct in my memory of tracking hurricanes as far as I've been watching, you know, the weather for years. You know, they know these things are forming way out in the Atlantic. This thing popped up out of nowhere. Okay,
Yeah.
South Cuba, right? And then it was moving at 22 miles per hour into the Gulf Coast. Well, it moved at a very strange speed, a lot higher once it got onto land, which is very not normal for hurricanes. Like it went from 22 miles per hour to a greater speed. Now you guys look up, you're going to have to do a deep dive on this because I don't remember everything, but like it went off into the land. There was nothing else fueling it, but it still had fuel. So something was fueling it once it got over land and turned this thing into a monster. And everyone that lives up there around Asheville, I've toured a lot through there. I have a lot of friends there. They say like, we've never had issues with hurricanes until this particular moment. Now, is there a thing about what they're going to mine there? Is there like, maybe that's a thing or whatever? I can't speak to it right now. All I know is I haven't seen weather behave like that, you know, in all the years of my life, where it just continues with its power on land. It usually dissipates, usually breaks up. You got some rain, you get some wind and whatnot. This thing just,
I've never seen it come that far inland and go that far north after hitting land. You know, I've seen it come in along the coast and like do a segue inward, but never come up straight up into the land and then, you know, keep and then gain strength. That was what was fucked up too. Yeah, there's some fuckery afoot. I think it's interesting too, the coincidence of the 1958 Helene hurricane that followed the same path.
yeah.
And gained the same strength. That was really kind of what's going on there. But they could actually take recorded data. You know, I was thinking they could take historically recorded data, reproduce those conditions how they want to, and do something like that. I'm not saying that's what they did, but I'm saying it's completely possible for them to do that, I believe, especially when they've got like equipment like this thing here.
Yeah. And Emily Crumb's gal Emily was in Tampa, and he was texting us ahead of time to kind of let us know. Her dad, and said the storm was about, do you say 55 miles per hour? About
it was moving at like 55 miles an hour, and then the last update I heard, and then it hit us. But if you were driving 55 miles an hour, there's no way you would be able to get from Tampa to
That's right.
Shelby.
So like it moved so fast when it got over land. That's the anomaly that's got me the most sort of perplexed. It's how fast it got from shore without fuel from the Gulf and up into the mountains, which have never experienced anything like this before. And again, like that's the news is trickling out now. Like nobody knew what was going on up there. Now we're getting like Twitter blew up today, and like you can only really get news on the ground from people that are actually out there. So there's a bunch of helicopter pilots, a bunch of people talking about like we had to do it all ourselves. You know, apparently they lifted the level 10 like thing or whatever it was for the military to start helping. So apparently they're helping now, but like there was a bunch of people pushing back on help, saying don't go in there. They had all their bureaucratic reasons for why don't go in there. Oh, your drone will crash a helicopter. Your drone will fuck up our. No. There was a bunch of people that were local that went in there and helped people, and they were like, if we don't get up there now.
They made a guy stop. A guy went up, and he had his son with his co-pilot. He went up there and grabbed the guy, and left his son there. He was going to come back and pick him up, and then come back and get the other person, and then get him right. Well, after he got back with the first guy, then they have threatened to arrest him if he went back up.
Yeah,
and
which
it's
is
like,
just
what in the, you know, this is insane. This is why, we know that they did it on purpose. I have no doubt in my mind. But here's where you're with this. Like, let me show you, because I ran across this here today. Like, here's an example of the people that we've been helping. And this is from October the 2nd. What's today? It's the 3rd now. This is yesterday before they did that. And check this out, man. This guy, he said, they caught a glimpse of a mirror flash. There he is. And they went down there and dropped supplies, formula, food, bunch of shit.
Yeah, and these are the great stories coming out of here, because like a bunch of people volunteered to come out of Florida there was a bunch of helicopter pilots. It was really just social media that got these people to go out there and help. Because I mean, if you're not a mountain person, like I've toured through the mountains, I'm really familiar with Knoxville and Asheville because I did a lot of touring through there. Like there's little nooks and crannies up in there where, you know, they you know, you can call it hillbilly if you want to, but it's really people that just live up in the cracks of the mountains, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
have
I live in this area that you're seeing right here. That's exactly like where I live.
yeah,
It's exactly the same mountain range, man.
and if you've
We
never
got
ventured
lucky
off,
this time.
yeah, if you've never ventured off the interstate, there's a bunch of people that live in places that you'd never even know, but there's still people. They still on the grid. They still have electricity. Now there's some up in the hollers that don't have electricity, which we'll never get any data on this one. But like at least people that are semi on the grid, that if you know the terrain, they're way out there. They're
Mhm.
way out there, and there's no way to get to them except for helicopter. And there's not that many roads.
Well, that
know?
helicopter there, it said, and here's like the mirror that caught our attention well over a mile away. Only way we were able to find someone stranded in the mountains at the bottom of a steep canyon. 6 attempts to land due to difficulty, but we got there. Got him a chainsaw, EpiPens, insulin, chicken food, formula, gas, 2-stroke oil, and sandwiches. I'm like, yeah, there you go. And that's shit that they're gonna need, man. They're gonna need that. A chainsaw would be invaluable in a situation like that. But you got to have something to run it with as well.
Yeah, and there was a huge call for at least like where we were at for Flattober. We were down the range onto like more flatlands, but like there's a huge call for people with 4-wheelers, people with horses, people with anything that can get around trees and things to get stuff to people. And I mean, I don't think people understand like
Alexa.
again. Is this the Alexa thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's play that. I want to like if you haven't seen this.
Alexa, did North Carolina use cloud seeding during Hurricane Helene?
Yes, North Carolina has been cloud seeding during Hurricane Helene. Scientists injected silver iodide into the hurricane wall to steer the hurricane in another direction.
Oh my goodness. Alexa.
Oh, there's another one here too. Hold up.
There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them.
Repeat.
Yeah, let me blow this up.
Repeat.
To reduce the amount that can be paid out as compensation, Hurricane Helene was then artificially created, just like cloud seeding used to control and manipulate the weather, to flood and devastate those places and crash the value of land there.
Repeat.
Whoa.
To reduce the
Whoa.
Yeah. So like, and we all know that AI is written by humans. It's surprising that you know the powers that be would actually let that sort of go out there. But I think it's also like AI is out of control, and it's going to tell the story it's going to tell anyway.
Alexa.
That's nuts.
It's
dude.
creepy, but this is not new news. I mean, like the white papers on cloud seeding go back to World War II, if not.
Yeah, but I mean,
earlier.
it's straight up right there. I mean, how did that not get filtered out? I mean, these AIs, we know they're programmed to play the company song, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
how did that escape that? You know?
I gotta say, I like your hat.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the same for you, man. It's awesome, man.
I was just around. I got a bunch of swag from everything, but like just being down. What was really weird about the whole thing was like being down there at the basically where we were in the path, the straight path. Now we got lucky that the core went to the west of us by probably 20 miles, but we caught the fast moving winds that are on what you would call the right side if you're looking down. Which a lot of power outages, a lot of that, this and that, and everything else. Yeah, what was amazing, like, and like, my personal opinion and what I'm positing is I think they did something nefarious to the weather. That's just my opinion. I don't have enough data yet to know for sure. But I just kind of find it really hard to believe, especially all these anomalies that really overland. That thing should have slowed down. It didn't have any more fuel, and it just sped up. And like, then there's a lot of people saying that's not a 1 in 1,000 year flood. It's a 1 in 5,000 year flood, whatever that means, you know, for people who are into statistics. But it was like, nobody had ever seen anything like that. You know, and to see that kind of flooding at 2,200 feet, you know, it's really, really weird. I mean, it's weird.
We got hit by Hurricane Fran here, but it wasn't anything like that. We did get a lot of flooding, and I saw stuff, you know, that was I had never seen before in my life. I mean, after the waters receded, going back into areas that I hadn't been, man, there's the telephone wires with fucking weeds and pieces of tree limbs and shit hanging in it from where the water was flowing. And it's like, it's just, it just blew my mind. I'd never seen water. It would come down these mountains, and after the soil gets saturated, it's all runoff. And I saw this thing was forcing trees, like knocking them down, sweeping them away, and then driving them under and up through roads where you'd come and see like tree branches and shit sticking up out of the road where they've been forced up underneath. It was the craziest thing I ever saw. And these rocks would be tumbling. It sounded like a cavalry trying to come down the mountain all night long.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that were telling stories about going down roads that were, some of them were washed out or whatever, but there were, like, I just got a big bulk of it today, like the stuff that's finally getting uploaded to YouTube from there, because obviously the mainstream media cares little about covering it. And they're talking like boulders the size of Volkswagens that were in the middle of roads, which means like half a mountain failed, you know, the soil failed to put this thing down there or whatever. But the fact remains, it's like, if you just dial this back and you're like, how many people answer the census? Not as many people as you think, right? But knowing those mountains and knowing how people live up there, we don't know how many people live up there. We don't know how far reaching this thing is. And there's no way to find out because there's no way to contact these people. And it was like, from my perspective,
there's people that know, and they're taking care of it. I watched some stuff. There's people back in there using pack mules and shit. People ain't dumb, man. They know how they used to get stuff to people back in the day, and they still do it to this day.
Yeah.
You know, and right now there's people using trains of pack mules to take shit up into these people into the mountains.
Yeah.
That's awesome as hell.
And good for those people, man. Just like, I mean, I don't know, the people in the Carolinas, you know, I think in general, I like to believe that most people are good-hearted individuals. And like what mostly disappointed me was like people trying to help and getting turned down by bureaucratic bullshit. And like, they're even spending their own money on their helicopter fuel, their everything else. And they're trying to get out there and just buy some time for some people. And this whole bureaucratic bullshit about like, well, you might get in the way of the rescue effort. Well, you're not doing anything. You're doing shit. You like, we need to go out.
Here's how they helping, Lowry. Check this out. This is pretty cool. I don't think we need the music.
I like the music. Turn back on.
Yeah, right. Copyright.
Oh yeah, copyright. Okay, I got you.
But see, they're doing this thing with that, and they're having to do that. And this is what's pissing them off, because they don't want people to see that you don't need government agencies. That's one of the biggest things. They don't want people to see that when people can come together and take care of these crises without having some kind of an overbearing federal agency involved. And this is what they were doing. Listen to this.
Indeed.
Folks, we have breaking news coming out of some of the most affected areas in our southwest region of our country right now, namely Georgia, North Carolina. This morning on my show, we have LFA correspondent Tyler Kramer on the ground in North Carolina, and he had some great on-the-ground reporting, in the field reporting today. But basically, all of the relief efforts that have been going on have been by civilians, civilian airplanes, civilian helicopters, civilian rescue vehicles, civilian tractors and dozers, and any kind of rescue and relief has all been done by civilians. People are coming together like you've never seen before. Actually, some of the greatest reporting this morning was at the fact that, the country may not be as divided as we think. Maybe politically, yes, but we're banding together like never before. And on LFA TV today, we raised about $8,000 to help in the relief efforts, which we're actually sending down there as well. Some of us are going to be heading down there to help out. But the breaking news today, folks, is that FEMA, that now has jurisdiction in a lot of these areas, is literally confiscating donations and relief materials. So any first aid kits and food and water, because FEMA has jurisdiction.
See, that's the thing. They don't want you. And they've always sucked, man. When we were flooded here in '96, FEMA sucked then too. They really did. And if it wasn't for the people that came together and helped each other out and shit, FEMA they didn't really make a dent in anything. And then their stupid little temporary headquarter trailer, they just left that up in the fucking woods to rot. I mean, they're horrible. The government.
Yeah, I think.
Folks, we have breaking news.
Yep, go ahead. I was just thinking, if it's not a wake up call to people who again, you and I and like a lot of people in this community, we've been watching this shit for a long time. But it should be a wake up call to a lot of people is that the federal government doesn't give a shit about you. They just don't. They're not in the business of giving a shit about anyone. It's a corporation, and so they want to put on the show and say that it looks like they give a shit about you, but they really don't. Like honestly, if the building on fire next door is on fire and you have friends in it, you're going to run in there and help them before anybody's going to come and help you from anywhere else. And that is just a cold, hard truth. And frankly, you could see that even when we were in the head of the storm, we saw local power companies obviously rushing out to try to get power going up. These are local companies. These are I think there were companies down from Canada that came to help, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? And, as far as anything from Washington, D.C., it's all for show. They're going to do a photo op. You're going to have, the camel toe on, supposedly in the plane, looking like she's up to something important. It's just a photo op. They're just not going to help. And I sense that, I knew, because I've been to Asheville, I know how many little nooks and crannies there are, people living in the mountains. And I know there's only one way to get out to those. I knew this was going to be a big deal, and it's still becoming a big deal. And it probably will never get reported on. It will probably it'll get squashed in the memory hole, but it won't get squashed in the memory hole for people that are living in North Carolina. It won't happen.
Oh, and it's not for those that have got a conscience and they are concerned about what's going on. I've not forgotten about Lahaina. I've not forgotten about Paradise. They can try to sweep it under, and we know that those people were murdered, man. Those people were murdered using directed energy weaponry, weather manipulation, all this shit, man.
Feels like the same script, doesn't it?
Yes, it's there's not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind. And it usually is always for some kind of a land grab type of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was that in Lahaina. It was that with Paradise. And it appears to be that with this. Whereas they're getting ready to, I guess, bulldoze. Now, I've got a video here I'll show possibly here in a little while. It's about an 8-minute video on why this hurricane was manipulated. It seems to be pretty good. We'll possibly show that.
Do you have the Dutch Sense thing, or do you have the Into Thin Air stuff? I think they're all kind of watching the same.
Posted by not a number. I'm not sure who put this out.
Yeah,
but check it out.
And I it's a. I mean, it's it sucks that we just keep being. I don't want to say keep being right, but we keep just seeing exactly the same things that we've seen before. I mean, I was there was this one guy, a Plain Truth, and I don't know if he's still alive. I think he might have died. He was the one with the Paradise Fires, and kind of exposed, the DEW stuff. And I was a little skeptical, and I've looked at it over time, and then the Maui thing happened, and then it's kind of like the same script seems to be happening over and over. It's almost like they're playing a different game of chess. I say they, as in people that have the power to like actually fire, heat at moisture and or these blue bubbles or whatever. Again, I don't pretend to understand this shit. I have gleaned together an aggregate kind of idea of what I think and how they're using it. But this is not new news to anyone out there thinking we're a bunch of crazy fucking conspiracy theorists. No, it's white paper. It's fucking on record. They've known how to do this since World War II, if not sooner. So it's like, put two pieces together. If you don't want to be blamed by attacking somebody, you make it look like it was an act of God. It's not really that difficult to get your arms around.
I know that's exactly what they keep doing too. They try to make it look like an act of God, and the evidence just shows different. The weather manipulation is not new, not at all. I know that they've been doing this since Operation Popeye, at the very least. During Vietnam,
there's Operation Cirrus, or it was Cirrus, and then there was another one too. But
they've got all this shit going on. But now here it is. He's just wanting to get this. It's so greedy to get in there. Watch it. This is sick.
We have some disgusting breaking news, and it involves these hurricane victims. So this morning, Chimney Rock, which is close to Lake Lure, which is the viral video of the helicopter guy being threatened to be arrested, where he left a victim on the side of a mountain because they threatened to arrest him. Well, apparently they're getting ready to just bulldoze that entire community. And the local residents are speaking out, stating there are still bodies in the trees. You can see them. And they're not going to go rescue the bodies. No, they're just going to bulldoze it down so that the family members have no response or idea as to what happened to their loved one and or the ability to lay them to rest. And then they made the statement this morning that they did not want this to get out to the public. And I'm going to need you to do what you do, TikTok, because this is disgusting. I found this out from a local resident who was in attendance, and she was speaking on a live.
That they said that they can't even share, that they don't want this to go in public. And that's what they said. The town people said this morning is that they're literally piles of people that families are searching for, that they're going to just wipe them out, not collect them, not do anything, not send the family information, nothing. It is so terrible.
That's rough, man. That's rough. I don't know what to say about that shit.
We have some disgusting
nasty, really. But I don't know. Government does seem to be very uncaring. I'm going to show this real short thing. I saw somebody going on about white papers and all that. There's Raj. What's happening to Raj? Look, he's in a circle too because of gravity.
I know, aren't I?
That's because of gravity, That's the reason. Oh,
it is.
So, some of these NPC people that I've talked about, that they're just like some kind of manufacturing placeholder. Check this out. This is kind of funny. It's off topic. It's off topic, but we'll get back on in just a second. Watch this.
Good Lord.
What do you think, bud?
Not much.
How's your morning going?
Pretty good. Just gonna go walking around.
What do you got planned for today?
My mom's cooking ribs on her smoker.
Ooh, little rib action, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah, some ribs tonight.
Sounds good.
And that's just it. That's the biggest thing on his fucking plate right there. Because I'm going to go walking around and mom's making ribs. And it's like, I wonder half the time, like I'll see people and I'm like, I wonder what the fuck they're thinking about, man. And that's the case. A lot of people, I think, are thinking that way,
that's a case for the organic portal NPC thing. It's like, just really, do you have any internal dialogue with yourself at all? I don't really get it. I don't understand it. And like, I'm trying to come to some sort of consensus in my own mind that like some people don't have an internal dialogue. They don't think about stuff. or about why things happen. They're just like, well, that place is flooded. I guess I'll go have some ribs. I don't know where that person was filmed. I don't know if that was in the. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, go ahead.
So there are 45,000 transmit receive modules, and this antenna can detect an object the size of a baseball at a range of 2,500 miles. That is why I say this thing can project all that power into a pinpoint beam, totally computer controlled. The dome is 120 foot diameter. The power source is 3.6 megawatt generators for a total of almost 22 megawatts. And this HARP platform has a tow ship to move it around. So that 22 megawatts is not actually designed to go into the engines. That is designed to go into the transmitter unit. Other U.S. Navy ships have powerful microwave transmitters. This is the U.S. Navy ship Howard O. Lorenzen. It looks small, but it's actually 534 feet long. Each phased array, the boxes on the top of the deck, is a phased array transmitter, synthetic aperture radar, whatever you want to call it, weighs 250 tons. And there's a crew of 88 on board. This is a gigantic ionospheric heater again.
So remember a while back, I said, yeah, because the people were talking about HARP. And I said, yeah, but HARP is old hat compared to what they've got now, because we're used to seeing the memes and shit showing that huge antenna array in Alaska. And I said, no, man, they got shit that's portable now, man. They got just shit that's portable, ships, whatever, what have you, airplanes even that can carry this kind of equipment and be that mobile for smaller things,
Yeah, and it's important. It's important to remember too. Like, this isn't high science, guys.
So there are 45.
We know that, like, at a high enough frequency, you can heat water, and it changes the behavior of a cloud. It changes the behavior of weather. This is not new news. This has been known for years. They don't talk about it that much, but they have to present it, so they show it to you. I guess that's part of their karmic thing. That's how I would posit it. They literally just heated up a bunch of water and perhaps used an additive that accelerated the thing on the front side of the storm to speed it up and to get more action out of the water. This is not woo-woo shit. It's provable. You could fry somebody with high enough frequency. We all know this stuff. This is not woo-woo.
You remember that road? They called it the road of death. It was the road to Basra during the Gulf War. And you see all these burned up, fucked up cars just littering the road all the way down this road, right?
Yeah, they torched them.
Well, yeah, but here's what's so fucking crazy. You take a look, and there's charred bodies of soldiers in these vehicles, but their uniforms are not burnt, and some of them even have a piece of paper sticking up out of their pocket that's totally not burnt.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah.
So how do you fry people to a crisp without burning the shit around them?
There's a frequency for it, and they know it, and they've known it forever, and they can use it on anything they want. And I'm positing here. I don't have all the data because stuff is dripping out of North Carolina slowly, but thankfully we still have a modicum of free speech coming out of there, because all the news that we're actually getting out of Western North Carolina is through Twitter or Facebook or whatever. And they're all saying the same thing. And I trust the people of those mountains. I trust more than I never trusted mainstream media. But it's like,
my mom's in Charlotte right now. She's right there in the neighborhood.
Valley Parks was just now saying in the chat a minute ago that she just got her water back on.
Yeah.
And this is a woman in Tennessee. And I know that Valley Parks, I believe, is in Tennessee, as well as who else is down there? Carl's down there too, I believe. Yeah, Carl's down there from FB Nation. So I don't know. Be something to hear. Dew from the mountain. You see what he did there? His little play on words. That's pretty slick. Dew, Mountain Dew.
Yeah, somebody else uncovered another Mountain Dew can today. I saw that again predicted it had a hurricane on the front of it. You can look into it if you want to. If you do enough study on predictive programming, we know how they do these things. They introduce them in every day, but they can't say it exactly, but they put it on the nose. Anyway, I want to see this.
Anyway, yeah, this is a Tennessee resident.
Well, you're going to have to just excuse my appearance because we have no power. We have no running water, but I'm just so pissed off that I've got to make this clear. We got a notification from TEMA. I'm guessing that's FEMA for Tennessee. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to be the disaster relief people, but they were like, do not donate your time. We don't want you to donate time unless we ask for you. And we don't want you to donate stuff to other people. You need to just donate money and stuff to us and get your instructions from us and listen to us. What? And then they said yesterday, we don't go into areas that the roads are not easily accessible. What? You are the disaster relief people. Like, that is your job, right, to go into the areas that are hit by disaster and provide relief. Not to just go to the easy area and sit and wait for the people that are in the disaster area to be able to come to you. The roads that we do have were cleared by the locals, and you have to have trucks and stuff to be able to get through there. Like, it's just beyond me. So, and you have us all messed up. If you think you're going to come here and bark orders at us and then expect the people just to give you the money and us trust that you're going to try to take care of us when you don't go into areas that are not easily accessible. What? Like, this is Cott County, girl. So donate to our local churches because they will make sure that the people that are need it will get it. And you need to just, while we appreciate what help you're trying to provide, I don't think you understood the assignment, because it's not to just go to one location in hopes that the people in the disaster area can make it to you. So just sit back and watch, and we'll show you how it's done, but we're not going to stop. So please and thank you.
She's base as fuck. Like, that's just what it is. And it's like, and you know what, honestly, she's got a good point. It's like, yeah, what's the first thing that goes out? Like, donate to these certain like barcodes, like they put out on the news or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you're really sending money, guys, like, you know, you really just got to find somebody that's local on the ground and just Venmo them like cash, like, so they can fill up their 4-wheeler, so they can take like water.
Well, see, here's the problem with that though. Here's the problem. A lot of these Venmo and shit like that, well, yeah, that's all well and good, but the electricity's down, man. These points of sale are not going to be able to accept shit except cash. That's the problem. See, you got no way to run your point of sale because it's all computerized. It takes debit cards, all this other bullshit. That's where the problem runs into.
Yeah, and you just like, if you're gonna help, I guess what it really is just like, get yourself down there if you're close to there and you have a 4-wheeler or a helicopter, for God's sake. That's even better.
Yeah.
That's everything I learned today on all the stuff that finally started seeping out of Western North Carolina. It was like, I don't give a fuck what you got. You have a helicopter? Do you have mules? Do you have a 4-wheeler? That's all they cared about. There was nothing else. They didn't give a shit about Chinook helicopters or fucking FEMA or anything. They're like, if you have a flying machine, if you have a mule, you have a 4-wheeler, get to Western North Carolina. And like, I guess that's probably, I mean, it's good. You know, it's good advice for putting it out there, because like,
I gotta go pretty soon, guys. I wanted to bring up a point. When I was in the Carolinas, when I was raised there, we went through Hugo. You remember that?
Went to what?
Yeah. Hurricane Hugo. We went through the same thing. Yeah. That was a weird one. It actually jumped inland from the coast and landed right in Gastonia in Charlotte, where I live. And we went through the same thing in the hills up there. But they didn't go through all this who send and help. Every state surrounding, including your state, came down and cleaned up the mess, helped everybody. There was no fussing or fighting.
Yeah.
Got the power running, got the water back on. Took a while
to do it. That's how it was here. That's how it was here with Fran.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. They brought in electric crews from up in Michigan, all over the place, man. The Oakland County, Michigan road crew came down here to help fix the roads and shit. It was amazing.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Noel. How are you
It's
tonight?
Noel. And how is your guys' day? How is your guys' day today?
Just finer than frog hair split three ways. I
Is
got a new.
that Bigfoot? Is that Bigfoot?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah.
All right, watch.
Oh my God! In the middle of all this, we have
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
That's a fat man.
There was actually a real Bigfoot video. If you call it real today too. Like, just so you know.
Excuse me. Have I been on this channel before? Yes, I have.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, indeed. You have.
and so are you good with me now?
Yeah. Just maintain conversational decorum and that kind of thing, and we're good to go. Just getting ready to go from we're going to go down here and look at this thing about how this storm was manipulated. What are your thoughts on what's been occurring in North Carolina?
The storm is really bad.
Yeah, man. Some rough stuff, man. Really rough.
Yeah.
Let me see it. Here it is. I got it.
Noel, where are you at? Where are you located?
I'm located in a state.
Right on.
Not what he wanted, but yeah, that's a
in a
good
state. Okay. Yeah. All right. Are you
I
in the
don't
South?
wanna say right now. I don't
Are
want to
you
say
in
right
a-
now.
Are you in a state of euphoria, a state of hysteria, a state of bliss? What
I've been
state?
there before. Yeah,
Yes.
nice place.
Fort Bliss? No, it's not. No, it's not. Fort Bliss, Oklahoma is not a
No,
nice place. Shut up. None of those fucking places.
I've
are.
lived in Oklahoma. It's a beautiful place, man.
Yeah,
Flat,
but
red, and
What
dirty.
about you?
Fort Bliss is not beautiful, my friend.
No, I lived in Tulsa for a while. That's a nice little place. I like it there.
Tell you another place that's not beautiful. Fort Dix is not beautiful.
Well, I'm gonna step off. I'm gonna go over and start a stream with Ryan here.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Have a good
See you,
night, man.
Roger.
Thanks for
I just wanted to throw the Hugo at you right quick.
Right, yeah,
Some people-
Hugo did that in if you look kind of longitudinally where you're talking about and where I live are along that same vertical path, and it's pretty much the same terrain, the same type, it's the exact same mountain range. And yeah, when Fran hit here, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. There was a house was floated up, taken over a fence, and was eventually sitting in the middle of a flooded baseball field and just kind of slowly rotating around as it floated around. It was fucking crazy. I never saw anything like that in my life.
Look how big that storm is
I
up
know.
to the north. And like, what is that even? It doesn't make any sense. Like the core of the storm is like right there at the curve of the Gulf. But
Mhm.
you've got activity all the way up to Canada.
Mhm.
Like I don't understand that. First of all, it's like how big this thing actually was, and it was downplayed like a Cat 1, but it
Yeah.
looks like a Cat 4. Heading inland, especially with the the adjacent storm moving up like all the way. All those states are like 12 states in there. Like I
We
haven't
got
seen
all
anything
this.
like
We
that.
got all this shit right here. It rained for like 4 days, man. It was there was standing water. We had a little bit of flooding, and some people got some power outage, because it was pretty torrential rain for a little bit. I was a little worried there for a while, but we didn't receive not nearly what these other states got. We were really lucky. We were really lucky where we were.
Do you have that the either the Dutch sense stuff or the into thin air stuff where you have the radar data showing like the anomalies?
I
in the
don't have it
storm?
queued up. I don't have it queued up or in a history or anything. This is just a little 8.5 minute thing. It's pretty
Gotcha.
interesting. It was reposted by, are you familiar with Brian Young from Here's the Deal and the Disturbing Illusion channels?
Now I should check that out. Actually,
Oh yeah, listen, those guys, that dude, it's amazing as far as like how politics and government is, how like it's almost like, dude, get out of my head, one of those things.
right?
It's really, yeah.
What's it
I've
called?
been
It's called
watching
is it Here's the Deal on YouTube?
on YouTube, it's Here's the Deal, and he's also got the Disturbing Illusion.
Okay.
Is
All right.
another one. And that's on the Disturbing Illusion. He mostly covers politics. And on the other one, Here's the Deal. Of course, those are like, cop interactions and
got it.
unlawful shit like that.
Yes,
And I think that's a slick name because that's what those fuckers always say. Okay, well, here's the deal. And it's like, no, dude, there ain't no fucking deal. I'm not playing with you. I'm not in your game. Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me let this start.
Yeah.
Weather manipulation, weather modification is not a conspiracy theory. They have told us time and time again, and by they, I am talking about the powers that be, but scientists, researchers, and so forth have told us time and time again they can manipulate the weather. They can create very powerful storms, monsters. The government has been manipulating the weather ever since the 1930s, if not before then, under such projects like Operation Storm Fury and Operation Cirrus. So it's definitely no secret, and I'm sorry if I sound a little hoarse or chalky, it is because I'm actually getting sick and my throat hurts very, very bad at the moment. But going back to weather manipulation, we actually have something rather interesting when it comes to North Carolina Hurricane Helene and a particular agreement. Now, for those not aware, lithium batteries have been really making their rounds in the news lately. Here in the United States, where I'm from, certain items with lithium inside have been catching on fire. Then I believe there was a port that had cases of lithium, which also caught on fire. So, like I said, we have been really hearing a lot about lithium lately. You see, North Carolina has a lot of lithium deposits. Do you see where I'm going at here? There is a corporation that really wants these lithium deposits. That corporation is called Albemarle Corporation. Now, Albemarle is owned by both BlackRock and Vanguard.
We've got some lithium here too. There's an area called Bear Lithia Springs, and a lot of people call that happy water because you can go there and get the water out of this right out of the rock. It's just flowing out of the rock, and it's got trace amounts of lithium in it. And I'll tell you what it does. It elevates your mood 100%, man. It's good stuff.
I mean, people take that stuff.
Very surprising.
Yeah. And there again, though, with the pharmaceuticals, they got to give you a shitload of it. Small doses of stuff, man. Small doses, everybody. Doesn't always take a big bang.
Indeed.
Because
I said indeed.
Right.
BlackRock and Vanguard have their hands in everything. But the reason why the Albemarle Corporation said they wanted these lithium deposits was to create lithium batteries for EVs, electronic vehicles. And you have to remember, electronic vehicles are very important to the powers that be, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, and so forth, when it comes to the 2030 agenda. Matter of fact, last month in September, the World Economic Forum and the United Nations met to speed up the 2030 agenda. So these lithium deposits in North Carolina, again, are very, very important to the powers that be and their agenda.
Be invited for the meeting when we meet for the 20th Governance Summit. You will use the app like Uber, but not anymore to call some driver, but automatically guided car, a self-driven car, will come to your hotel or wherever you are and will bring you to the airport. No, Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic, who told me in 2030, Los Angeles will be private car driven free.
This guy. I mean, really, this guy. You're muted, Sob, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I am. So you call up, I was muted, yeah. So you call it up and say, hey, Schwab Mobile, take me to the grocery store. And it says, no, taking you to jail. It's like, fuck, and the door is locked and you have no control over anything. Fuck this guy and all his shit, man.
Here's the crazy thing, Sob. Just like pause that for a second. Okay, so I've done a lot of. I did 7 tours in Germany, and I've been around a bunch of lovely Germans, and they're lovely as shit.
Yeah.
The Germans in general are high engineering people. They're very clear thinking, high engineering. He is the worst example of where a high-thinking, lovely individual goes sour. Unless you get enough power that you also have that German think where you can fix everything in your narcissistic little viewpoint. And again, this guy's just a puppet. He's not the guy in charge. He's the guy he's the low-hanging fruit of like, but he's the guy that's talking, right? But I've been around with enough Germans. Like, I know this talk, and like most Germans are lovely as shit and they're amazing. They're engineered thinking individuals, and they're very highly susceptible to somebody like this who elevates them to like, take your engineering, position and take it all the way to where we can fix the entire world. This is the exact example of that. And of course, he's got like, who knows how many people above him that we'll never know their names. Well, at least we don't think we will. But like this guy, he's a fucking joke. He's a fucking puppet joke. If I met him on the street, dude, I literally would punch him in the face. He's that big of a wuss. But he's like if you go to Germany and you see how they behave, you will see this as a trend. But the lovely Germans,
Oh yeah, I know. Listen, I was in Frankfurt in 1984 and 1985, and I was amazed at the level of efficiency that their municipalities and things all ran with.
Everything.
I mean, here was this huge city, Frankfurt, big ass city, clean as a fucking whistle. Clean as a whistle. And I found out why, man. So it was like, it was so crazy because they got like these people that come out at night, like about 4 o'clock in the morning. And they're like sweeping the sidewalks, picking shit up, emptying the trash, sweeping and washing the streets. And then around 6:30 or so, you start smelling the most wonderful fucking smells of pastries and shit being baked for that morning in all these different bakeries. I was just like amazed. And it's, the train should be here in 5 minutes after. I'll be damned. Look at, here it comes. 5 minutes after, right? It says it's going to leave at such and such a time. And they go, they have a bit of Einsteigen, like, get your fucking head out of the door. We're closing it and going. And they will.
Yes, they will. And it's a fascinating culture in that I adore that they get up to this because, like, this side of the pond could use some of that. It's the offspin of that sort of mind thought that creates somebody like this guy.
When were you over there, Lowry?
2012 to 2018, I did like 7 tours. So
19.
I've been to more cities. Yeah, more cities than most Germans have been in their own country. I went to all of them. So I got a little like taste test of like the whole place, and like the southern part's a little more conservative, the northern part's a little more liberal. But in general, like they are very, very, very good at getting things right. That same thing that helps them to get things right also can spin off a narcissist into somebody like this cat, and they're and like a lot of people would say like Hitler, like the whole Hitler debate's still out there. I'm not even going to remotely go to that fucking hill tonight, but like this is a thing that happens in that part of the country. They will build you a train that is not even 1 second late, and they get it right. Right. I mean, like over in the States, we don't get that shit. We don't get that kind of level of engineering. But you spin off a narcissist like this, and there's going to be that in every population, a narcissist or sadist or something that's equivalent to each population, whether it's a state, what's Germany.
It stems from this, I think. It stems from a great deal of fear and the inability to deal with unpredictability. Okay. So they have to know everything that's going to happen, how it's going to happen, what time it's going to happen. These people they end up being control freaks. So they can control those variables. You see, anything unpredictable scares the shit out of them. These are really usually very cowardice people. They're very cowardice people. Well, this man right here is obviously a coward.
I mean, he's a definition of pragmatism. I mean, like to the point of to psychotic pragmatism.
Now you realize when I was over there, Lowry, when I was in Germany, I could only go a certain distance east.
Oh, were you wait? That would be because there was still the wall.
Oh yeah, I had to. I worked with the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment at Fulda along this big, huge fence that used to run right between East and West Germany. This huge, huge, huge fence, and it was amazing. In the East Germans, they had a tower every 1,000 meters, and I think it was every third or fourth tower they had a gate. That it was some crazy shit, man. It was some crazy shit. And here's what was crazy of it: you had the country was divided in half, east and west, right? And Berlin was in the middle. It was over here in East Germany, but the west half of Berlin belonged to a section of land that it wasn't even connected to. It belonged to West Germany. I mean, it was one of the silliest fucking things. Like, I had to get like clearance to be able to go to Berlin. So I had to be able to pass into East Germany and then out of East Germany into West Berlin. And then if I wanted to go into East Berlin, then I had to get clearance again to go there. That was fucking nuts, man. When I saw the wall came down, when the wall came down, I saw it on TV. And I was about half buzzed, and I thought it was like Saturday Night Live or a skit or something. I thought that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen ever.
Here's another bugger of it too. Like most people, like they tend to like put people into certain places in their mind. In other words, the Germans are all bad. No. Most of the Germans I've met have been so lovely that your heart melts. They are also conditioned to the programming that a certain person with a short mustache is a bad person. That's not my hill to die on. Don't care. Most of them are just like us. And there's a small, tiny position of them that actually came over to our country and did a bunch of work in the rocketry program, which is no news to anyone listening here.
Speaking of that, now I'm going to get to Greg real quick. I'm watching a limited series, I think it is. And I think it's on CBS. You can find it on a streaming service, I'm sure. And it's called Strange Angel. And it's about Jack Parsons. And it gets into his getting into Crowleyism. And I mean, and it's, a drama. It's a drama. It's not like a documentary. It's a drama based on, and it's
you mean the five guys that started the fake space program?
JPL. Yeah. And good friend of L. Ron Hubbard, so I'm waiting for that character to be introduced and shit. That ought to be really
funny. Like the people that started the heliocentric religion, it's so funny that they're all in the same thing. That Disney was created adjacent to that, and the JPL rocket program. Well, good, you're good. You boys with toys, boys with rockets. Oh, you launch rockets into you have this religion. That they created on the spot. They just created a religion and just fed it, and everybody fucking bought it.
This one part he's trying to get support at the college. I think it's Cambridge. And he's talking to these professors about his proposal of making rockets. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not really interested in for what, And he says, because the propeller is outdated. He says, we're not just going to use rockets for propel forward. We're going to go to space. And the professors laughed at him and said, you can't work a rocket in space. There's nothing to push off of.
And that's always the biggest one. It's like if you even know a notion about physics, you're like, well, something's got to push off something. I did a huge rant on this just out of nowhere. I was like, it just doesn't work in space. It's fantasy. It's fucking Disneyland.
I got a video. I got a high-speed video of a rocket in a vacuum, and it won't work. Okay.
Yeah. And here's my favorite response to that. There's one where there's a rocket in a vacuum. And it totally, other than the descent data that just came out in the last couple of weeks for a plane, which completely annihilates the heliocentric religion, the rocket in a vacuum, in a tube, someone came back and said, here, look, you can actually push off a vacuum. And they got it wrong, right? So the rocket starts, nothing happens. But once the thrust hits the edge of the tube, then it pushes back, then the rocket moves. And the Globers will be like, look, see, you can push off a vacuum. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand physics, you motherfucker. Sorry, I'm going to rant on that, but like, that's just what it is.
Greg's got a hat like ours.
That's why I jumped on. I found my hat. It's been a couple months.
That's a lot of tinfoil hats in one broadcast.
So I just wanted to jump on and say hi, but I found my hat. I love you guys. That's
Yeah,
it.
man,
Good,
love you
man.
too,
All I
Greg.
really had
You're
to
all
say.
right. We're gonna try and get through this Klaus
Yep.
thing.
will allow to transform highways into parks and other public spheres.
2 years
What are you going to need parks for? You're trying to make everybody die. You're trying to make the population less. You don't need no parks, asshole.
ago, back in 2022, the Albemarle Corporation wanted to restart mining for lithium at a site along Interstate 85 in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, that was shut down back in the 1980s. But you see, there's a problem. That problem happens to be, and reading this article back on March 29, 2022, residents worry about keeping homes if lithium mining restarts in Kings Mountain. That is right. The same exact place that the Albemarle Corporation wants to start mining, well, there's homes, stores, and businesses near these deposits. Some of them are actually on top of these lithium deposits. Take, for example, a technical center along Raven Circle, which is still on the 800-acre plot of land that the Albemarle Corporation wants to dig under. Then there's this woman, Deborah Dixon, who told the news she had been told her family's home along Park Race Road is just outside of the proposed mining site, but not quite far enough away to be spared from its impact. So you don't even have to live inside the mining zone, but you can be outside the mining zone and still face an impact. These residents were also worried of a potential buyout, and they would be offered much less than what their homes were worth. Back in 2022, homes sold in Cleveland County around $196,000, and that price was increasing. These community members, these residents, they gathered in protest. They had meetings. They said they definitely did not want to move. Buying a home is very difficult. There were even people who lived farther out who also had questions about the impact of air and water quality. And when these questions were raised to the Albemarle Corporation, well, they had no response. These residents were going to put up a real battle. They were not going to move. Well, flash forward to February 2024, the Albemarle and the BMW Corporation announced a multi-year agreement to supply battery-grade lithium to BMW for use in their electronic vehicles. The agreement will begin in 2025 and includes a joint research interest in developing safer and more energy-dense lithium-ion batteries. But not just BMW, the Albemarle Corporation also had an agreement with Ford Motor Company and Caterpillar. But it doesn't end there. It does not end there. The Albemarle and the United States Department of Defense awarded Albemarle a $90 million agreement to support the expansion of domestic lithium mining and production. The agreement will help Albemarle reopen its Kings Mountain, North Carolina lithium mine, which is expected to be operational between 2025 and 2030. So with the United States Department of Defense help, the Albemarle Corporation will be able to mine in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, where we have all these residents, stores, and buildings that do not want to move. So what happens when residents do not want to give up their land? Well, just like Hawaii, as coincidence may have it, quote unquote coincidence, Mother Nature kicks in and helps them move, helps them leave. Now, when I say Mother Nature, of course, I'm being sarcastic. We know what's actually taking place here. Well, come to find out, once again, quote unquote coincidence kicks in, because the same exact spots that the Albemarle Corp wants to mine, well, Hurricane Helene just happened to ravage the area. This area was the most impacted by Hurricane Helene. We are talking about towns wiped off the map. This individual on TikTok, she goes by @HolyKila, has some really interesting things to say about what's taking place with Hurricane Helene and this agreement.
I'll tell you what I find suspicious as shit, that one of the areas affected by Hurricane Helene is the world's largest lithium deposit, and the DoD just entered into an agreement with this company right here to mine lithium for electric cars starting in 2025. Now that area is completely devastated. This is a $90 million agreement between the DoD and this company right here to get Kings Mountain, North Carolina lithium mine up and running by 2030. If that area has been inundated, is in a disaster zone, then the government can come in and do eminent domain, and they can pay you what it was worth 5 years ago rather than what it's worth right now. Imagine that your home has turned into a watery lot and the government comes to you and says, hey, I'll pay you what you paid for it. You're going to take it and you're going to go, right? What do you think is going to happen right here now that they want this lithium mine up and running by 2025, 2030 at the latest? Back in 1947, we had the Florida Georgia hurricane, or Hurricane 9, and it was the first hurricane to be targeted for weather modification. What happened was General Electric, the U.S. Navy, the Army, the Air Force, they poured dry ice into this hurricane using airplanes to see what would happen. Would they slow it down? Well, what happened was it slowed down a little bit, but it turned west really sharp. Let me show you. This is the path that the hurricane took in 1947. Does it look similar to you? Probably not. It's a coincidence, right? Moving on. I'm sure this is just another coincidence, but do you know who owns the most shares in that lithium mine? BlackRock and Vanguard.
Yeah, but they own the most shares in everything, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, we got to be real careful here. King Mountain is the lithium mine there, and there was no flooding there. So I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm just saying that there's probably a path of mining up to Asheville that's involved here. But just because this is the truth community gets really in trouble when it jumps too big of a bridge. So do I believe that there was some fuckery going on? Yes, I do. Right now, the only thing we know, and I know this because we have a Karen who lives like 20 miles or less from King Mountain.
That's like right next.
It never got flooded. So is there a vein that leads up to Asheville that's worth a bazillion dollars? Maybe. We don't know that yet. So we got to be really careful with this stuff. This is the stuff that gets us in trouble, Sav, a lot.
Right.
Is when people jump big bridges to make.
No, I have to check for myself on that again. Like you said, we agree there is some kind of fuckery involved.
Yes,
we know that.
My personal position.
Now, what we have to get into the problem is motive. Okay, because a lot of times people say, and there's people, yes, that could be a motive for it. I don't know. It could be also part of this October surprise, knowing that also at the same time, Tennessee National Guard's already been dispatched over to the Middle East. There could be a number of things, but here I am. I walk into a room and there's two guys laying dead on the floor with gunshot wounds and stabbed in the back with a knife sticking out of their back. Now, I have concluded that both of these men have been murdered. I don't know why, but because I don't know why doesn't mean that they weren't murdered.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't know the motive. That could be a possible motive thread to follow. I don't know. It seems like there are some holes in it, but then again, we have to wait and see what plays out from it.
I've got a position on this if you'd like to hear it. And like, again, I'm just positing it. This is again spitballing. Having spent like 15, almost 20 years studying that 9/11 stunt, that 5D warfare is real. And it doesn't look like the way we thought warfare looks. It doesn't look like people shooting each other, running through the fields, burning down villages. It doesn't look like that. It's subversive. And this one stunk to me. That felt like a D-Day for America. For me, that's just me positing. I'm spitballing here because, I think I happen to believe that there's 100 or 200 people that died in this event. Knowing those hills and knowing how people are up there, I think it's much higher. And
there's thousands missing.
That would be the equivalent of a D-Day. Yeah. So what you have here is you're like, well, how do we analyze 5D warfare if we've never studied it our whole lives? We're not in the military. I come from a military family, so I have some insight, but like, really, I don't know what warfare looks like in this time and day. I have no idea what it looks like. And if you can blame it on an act of God, then nobody's at fault. And that's the problem we're dealing with here is we've got deception at the highest fucking level, man. And like, I just don't, I have a long memory, just like a lot of people in this community have long memories. And we're like, it never used to be this way. It never used to be this way. Anyway, that's my rant. There you go.
There's a boat going over the curve of the earth.
Oh yeah. Ye old curve of the earth. Oh yeah. It's also getting blown up.
Oh, is that
yeah.
That's the British.
I'm sorry if someone got injured in that, but it's like,
isn't that the British oil company? The Houthis?
The Houthis?
Yeah,
the pirates?
Yeah, and now ever since they Houthis split away from the blowfish, it's just been mayhem. Okay. I just want to put that out there.
Oh my God. I'm just
So
like,
that was supposedly a British oil tanker that was hit in the Red Sea by the Yemeni Houthis, and yeah, listen, shit's going crazy. There was missiles getting through the Iron Dome and striking Tel Aviv.
oh yeah, and they hit Mossad headquarters. I'm sure that's possible with the Iron Dome. I'm sure that's possible. It's just so dumb.
No, the Iron
So
Dome
dumb.
didn't work. Here's another problem.
Or they shut it off.
They haven't even used their hypersonic missiles yet. Their Iron Dome is useless against these hypersonic missiles that Iran has. But they were hit by Yemen and Lebanon, Syria, and Iran. I mean, they've picked a fight with everybody in the region right now. They have
On Rosh Hashanah.
Is this a good time to talk? Is this a good time to talk about the Khazarian mob or not? Are we ready for that? Are we ready for
no,
that
wait,
yet?
actually it is because it's Rosh
'Cause I
Hashanah
don't think
and they
we've-
can't be online right
I don't
now.
think we've ever talked about that in length on any show. I've kind of touched on it. I wasn't sure if it was too early to talk about this subject, but I think it's really important. I'm asking you, man. It's your show. You tell me. We can wait for it later.
We can get into that a little bit. We can get into that here in a little bit. Absolutely. I want to do a dedicated show on that very subject and take it all the way over.
I've got
to
links.
Rumble.
I've got
Just
links
have
on
over
it.
to- yeah,
I
what
can-
I'm saying is then take it over to Rumble because
Yeah.
of the small hat influence that's here prevalent on YouTube. But it
All right.
has nothing to do with that. The thing is that this is orchestrated. Time is short. This is why they're bringing all this shit on all at one time. I thought this was kind of wild what this woman said, man.
Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
disgusted. Humanity has reached an entire new level of sick. If you've ever wondered how the atrocities of 1930s Germany was allowed to happen as the people stood by and watched it happen and cheered it on, look no further than the current state of the United States of America. The state-run media propaganda that has been allowed to run rampant in our country has done far worse than divide us over an election. There are people celebrating the loss of life and the devastation that just happened to multiple states across our country because they are red states. How effing sick can people be? Never in my life, and I am a pretty political person, I believe deeply in how I feel politically, and never once, ever on any occasion in my life would I celebrate the loss of life or destruction because it happened to someone who I didn't agree with politically. If you want to know how awful things happen in history as people stand by and watch, now you know. The brainwashing of these governments, including ours, has been perfected to turn us on each other, and people still go and fight for the system, for the machine, with their whole heart. Did history teach us nothing? This is criminal, and at this point, it's beyond evil.
It's people are ripping on each other over this shit really hard. They're like, well, it doesn't matter. There are a bunch of Republicans got killed in that storm, or whether it's in the Middle East, it's like, I don't care if a bunch of Dune coons get killed, blah, 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 like that. It's the uncaring thing because of the propaganda that you've been fed, allowing you to somehow psychopathically in your mind dehumanize these people to a point where they've just inanimate objects as far as you're concerned.
There's this is a definitely we need to save this for the Rumble channel because I have a bunch to talk about it. But I think I can hobo speak my way through in general what you just said, which is literally it's the normalization of murdering people is a little disturbing. And me being from I didn't grow up in church, I didn't grow up in anything. I was never an atheist, but I really didn't give a shit about it. But I consider myself Christian adjacent or Christian friendly. And like, I was like, yeah, do no harm, do no this. The normalization of killing people it's a bit not disarming, but it's a bit disturbing, you know. And then like you see it in repetition in propaganda, where it's like just people dying. And it's like, well, people die every day, and then suddenly gets to that point, like, well, people die every day. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, that's fucked up. It didn't used to be that way, you know. It didn't used to be. Oh yeah, we killed a bunch of Muslims over here. A bunch of Jews died over here, or whatever. It just didn't. It didn't. Now it's just wide open. It's just like death, destruction, propaganda. Like even though I think it was always propaganda through the news past 50 years, 100 years, whatever. I think it never went away. I think now it's in the wide open. It's in the wide open, and they're normalizing death to invite war into this thing. And like, to get our arms around how that works, you got to step back from it and be like, hey, not okay with this shit. Not okay with any of this stuff. I know you're trying to normalize killing people or whatever, and you're even creating propaganda that your people are getting killed versus, that whole thing in the Middle East has been going on for fucking years. It hasn't stopped. I mean, those people have hated each other for years, and they normalized it. And it depends on who gets the most people behind them to get sorry for the Israelis versus the Muslims versus like whatever. When did that ever become our problem? When did it ever become our problem? We're living thousands of miles away from them over here. The only problem that we've created for ourselves is we paid tax money to pay for that fucking shit. It's like, like I'm like, fuck that. I don't agree with that. Every time you buy a candy bar, every time you buy a fucking sandwich, your 2 cents goes towards a fucking war machine, even though we know they have the fucking printers to print money, and like it's all bullshit anyway. They're killing a bunch of people because they believe that their God is better than the other God. This is not new. It's not new. It's not, but most people forget about it. Like they, 5 minutes ahead, 5 minutes behind. They can't remember shit. Anyway, I rant, dude. You go.
You're all right, man. Listen, I'm going to put this little questionnaire thing up into the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could receive $10,000, somebody just give you $10,000, but in response to you accepting it, a random person in the world will die. Would you take the money?
No.
No, that's stupid. Put it up there though. Let's see what happens. Let's see how many trolls we got.
In a poll taken by, I think it was New York Post.
That poll went up. That is the sickest fucking poll I've ever heard in my life.
46% of the people said they'd take it. Never once even realizing that random person could be you.
Yeah.
Okay, that random person that would have to die could be the person that accepted the money as well.
Right. It's
Never once did they take that into consideration. They just looking at the odds of it being someone that they know, and if it's not someone they know, then it doesn't matter. You see,
I think people have been softened to death.
That's a really fucked up quote to put on the New York Post.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be like back in the day. Like I remember growing up, it was like I was afraid of death. I didn't want to die. I wanted to like have fun and like enjoy life and do all. And like it seems like death has just been so normalized. It's like ever since that stunt they pulled in 2020, it's like people are just like, well, I'm going to die anyway. I guess whatever. I'm just like, where did this come from? Like, where did this normalization of like, oh, you're going to die. You're going to die now. And like, it doesn't matter. And like, come on, guys, snap out of it, dude. It's like, life is right in front of you.
It is. It is.
It's
because
right
they've been beat down. They're depressed slaves. On a level, they're depressed slaves. They look forward to that little brief reprieve from their slavedom, and they can escape and watch their TV and eat their Doritos and shit.
I know, and you can literally like I hosted a conspiracy trivia down at my local bar downstairs. This is in Brooklyn. This is in deeply blue Brooklyn. And I did a conspiracy thing down there, and like a bunch of conspiracy people came out, and we were all having a good time or whatever. the people that weren't, the people that had no idea that there's a possibility of anything else outside of their normal narrative, they were like deer in headlights. And I'm not sure. Again, I'm working through this whole thing. I'm like, are NPCs real? Are
I believe so.
organic portals real or whatever? Or are they just so young in the process that they just have no idea how to use that mental muscle, which is, basically, common sense. Yeah. And like, I see it every day. It's like, you can see it from a mile away. And I don't know if I want to fuck with these people or help them, because I don't know if I'm doing myself a disservice by helping them, or if I fuck with them, am I being a bad person? Like, I could see like,
okay, so here's what I do, right? And I liken it to this. It's real simple. Guy falls, you see a guy that is in the water. He's apparently drowning. Okay. And you throw him a life preserver, you throw him a life ring, right? And he pushes it away. And you think, okay, well, maybe he just couldn't get it. And you throw him another life ring and he pushes it away again. It's obvious that that person wants to drown. It's obvious that that person does not want help. It's not going to be wise to jump into the water and try to keep him from drowning. You know why? Because he's going to pull you under and drown you too.
Man,
there will be casualties.
That's what they teach you in lifeguarding. It's like, to protect yourself, you keep them at arm's distance, but you still drag them to the shore.
Exactly.
But they will bring you down. And this is something that's really fascinating to me. And I think it's a really good topic. Like, you should write notes on this. And like, this topic of like actually handling people that are what we call normies or NPCs or souls in the making, or maybe they're just plain old organic portals set here to fuck with us, whatever. But it's real. Like, there are people that don't have internal dialogue with themselves. They've never asked the question about the very fact of what they're walking around on, what they're doing, what's going on. Why am I doing things like this? What am I doing?
That's because they've been trained to accept information based on their perception of the presenter's supposed station in life. That's where it comes from right there. And you're programmed to that. This is why people respond to the suit. Okay. They respond to the uniform. They respond to the lab coat. They respond to these various things, and they will act differently according to the costume and the perceived status of the person presenting the information to them. And not taking into mind, this is just another human being wearing a costume. Okay. That's why. This, and you can even tell a person right straight up, the commercial says this is not a doctor. But the guy will walk around with his stethoscope acting like a doctor, telling you about this latest and greatest drug. And then at the end, they reaffirm it by saying, ask your doctor about fuck it all, and it's like, well,
Right.
What do you mean? Like, in addition to that fake doctor, fuck you,
Doesn't it feel like an endless snake oil show?
It's
like
a constant barrage of attacks on your mind.
Yeah.
That's what it is. At all times, you're continuously being barraged. You're under a barrage of mind attacks at any given moment. It's mind attacks within mind attacks.
And they actually refined it over the course of like 70 years. I mean, everybody on here obviously knows about MK Ultra. We've been down that rabbit hole, whatever, but they've refined it to the point where it's every second of every day. If you choose to acknowledge it and, or you choose to agree with it and you're agreeing with their contract. And like, there's a lot of us that aren't agreeing with the contract anymore. Yeah. We're catching a lot of flack, but like, honestly, like if anything else, it's people who are listening to this past live and everything else. It's really like, if you don't agree to the contract, you don't have to do it. And guess what? They have no power over you. And if I could impart that to everyone listening, you don't have to agree. Walk away. And that's where your power lies. These people have no power.
Oh my God,
They
power
are
lies.
parasites. They're parasites. And you can make a lot of names for them. I'm sure there's a lot of categories that we're talking about. I'm not positive.
Uh-oh.
Which category they reside in a certain group of people. Yeah, you're still here. They reside in a certain group of people. They may not be called like that group of people, but I kind of have a hunch that they're hiding amongst another group of people that don't even know who they are. That's it. That's the best I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. This is Stu Peters. So I guess he tried it with one of those Alexa type devices or something. I'm assuming by what I saw. So let me see what happens here.
Alexa, was cloud seeding used in Hurricane Helene?
From egettalk.com. To reduce the amount that can be paid out as compensation, Hurricane Helene was then artificially created, just like cloud seeding used to control and manipulate the weather, to flood and devastate those places and crash the value of land there.
Man.
Alexa, was cloud seeding used in Hurricane Helene?
See, I won't have one of them fucking devices in my house, so I can't test it. You're muted, Lowry.
It would be better to honestly walk yourself away from AI. I'm sure there's some really good things that could be worked on, but I feel like because it's written by people, it's just walk away from it. You have your common sense. Just don't like we used to live like this before cell phones and before the internet, and we were just fine. And we made food and we ate and we had a good time and we had loving relationships with our families. We did all these things. AI, just fuck it. Fuck that shit. Like get a flip phone. Like if you need to call somebody, get a flip phone, call them or whatever. I'm not sure I need this black thing in my hand with, again, having all the information in this place that we live in my one right hand. It's been really fun. That's what kind of helped us all come together and talk about, I don't know, the place that we walk around in, and we found out that, hey, we're not a spinny ball. We figured that out. So the internet really did that really great things for us. At the same time, now that we have this knowledge, we can walk away from it and we can use it for only what it's useful for. And like, there's nothing else we need to do outside of this. We can just walk away from it because at this point in time, AI is so powerful. It's creating pictures of things that people are believing. They're believing cartoons. They're believing pictures of people that didn't even happen. There's even one for the disaster in North Carolina with this girl and with a dog in the front of the canoe. And it made me cry for a hot minute. And then I realized, like, you go in the AI, it was AI generated. It wasn't even true. Like
I know. Listen, I that shit, and you'll see this stuff come up and say, like it's some kind. Oh, look. Never before seen footage from Antarctica from 1912 or some shit. And they're showing like a Stargate and all this other fucking bullshit. And I'm like, man, get out of here with this AI bullshit. I'm tired of it, man. I am completely tired of it. And people, listen, when you go fucking with that thing, all you're doing is you're teaching Skynet. You're teaching Skynet how your mind works so that it can fucking circumvent anything you try to do in the future if it wants to.
Yeah.
Skynet will be fucking online and you're going to be sorry for training Skynet to fuck you. I'm serious, y'all. Can't plays with this.
And you don't need it. You don't need it. Honestly, like you don't need that stuff. There's a whole generation of people that don't even know how to walk through the world without having a swipe right, swipe left mentality or the pad or whatever. But like, I mean, I am witness. Nicole is witness. Saba, obviously, you're a witness. It's like we made it just fine without all this stuff for many years.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna use this tech to fight back until it just becomes useless, and then I fucking throw my phone off a bridge. I don't give a shit. I know how to walk through the world. I know how to plant plants. I know how to do stuff. I know how to eat and like do that sort of thing. It just doesn't. For like a really vast people that are based out there, and I know there's a lot of people on this broadcast, we don't need it. We're in just fine shape, and like find your people, find the people that are based and that actually have common sense, that aren't NPCs or whatever we're calling them. I don't even know what we're calling them. They're still a mystery to me. I don't understand why they can't have an internal dialogue. I don't get it. Maybe it's just our generation or our group of people are better at like actually asking questions. I don't really know. I don't get it.
Well, maybe they have an internal dialogue and it's really fucking creepy.
There's that. I mean, I love my sister. She dear to my heart. She can't get it, and it's not because maybe she can't get through it or whatever. I don't know. My dad's way beyond it. He was programmed like, way back in the day, and just breaking him out of his programming is probably impossible. I've tried, doesn't work. So like, all you do is give him love the best you can, give him love and say, hey, this is how I feel. And like, you can't see it. It's okay. Or maybe they're going through a journey where they still have to go through it. And here's another thing too, Sav, and it's really important. People have to go through this journey on their own in order to bear the fruits of it. If we just tell them it's flat, we just tell them that it's all this, they'll just be like, oh, okay, it's flat, whatever. They will never benefit from the fruits of the labor that it took us to get through all this bullshit. And we're talking years of bullshit to work through this shit. Really, like years. Like for me, 2001, for some people, the Kennedy assassination, for some people way back before that. But like, we're 25 years ahead of the average normie and or NPC and or organic portal. And
you want to know what the Kennedy assassination opened up for me and made me realize how far back it goes, right? Because then I started finding evidence of the fucking Pearl Harbor conspiracy that was set up. That was a setup.
Yeah.
100%.
And how long has this been going on? How long?
Yeah. Oh, forever. Listen, just to kind of shift a little bit.
Yep. Sorry, I was ranting.
I just ran across this post and it's 20 hours old, and all this other shit has kind of obscured it. But it says here that the FBI sees Diddy tape showing Hillary Clinton unaliving a child at a freak-off party. Seized footage from the Diddy Combs notorious parties allegedly feature Hillary Clinton in scenes that will upend the political establishment in Washington, D.C. and send shockwaves around the world. Diddy now sits in prison, fearful he will not survive long enough to face his day in court, while rumors circulate that Hillary is anxious she will be the next powerful figure to be exposed. Whistleblowers, including those closest to Diddy and the Clintons, are coming forward with damning evidence of sex crimes and crimes against children involving Hollywood stars, famous athletes, and DC elites. Hillary has survived countless scandals, but this time there's no covering it up. The tide has turned, the truth is being laid bare, and it's about to rock the entire system to the core. And this is from the TPV Sean. I don't know if you're familiar with him. On
seized footage from Sean Diddy Combs.
1 second here, I'll bring it up. Did you hear anything about this at all?
We've been following it a little bit, but
I heard a lot.
I'm trying to figure out how to dodge distractions. I know all these fuckers are evil, but I don't know which is a distraction and who's actually getting arrested. I don't even know if it's P Diddy in jail or if it's like
no, Diddy's in jail.
He's in jail, or a guy that looks like him. So like this rabbit hole goes so deep. Like he doesn't even. He's got his eyes. Never mind. Just keep going. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. It gets me with me as far as I'm concerned. Hillary Clinton has. I've known about that fucking bitch for a long time, man.
How many friends of hers? How many friends of hers have killed themselves? There's like some.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's 37 more than that. I guarantee it.
There's no stat in life where someone has, over 20, if not 30 people that have killed themselves.
I got a paper that's probably 15 or 20 years old that's called the Clinton Body Count, and that's got a phenomenal amount of people on it, and that ain't even keeping up with the newest ones.
No.
I mean, come on.
No.
This is insane. But yeah, I found this. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I just now ran across it, and it'll give me an opportunity to go take a pee and reload my bomb. Right
there we go. Yeah, play a video.
Wait a minute. Footage from Sean Diddy Combs is no.
What, Nicole?
Oh no, I was just gonna say. Did you hear about the whole Beyonce stuff?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, man. Yeah. These people in Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, like all of it, it's getting really, really weird.
Gnarly.
Well, the whole thing is that to cover that up, Michael Jackson, I guess, was going to come forward about some of this bullshit. And that's one of the reasons they went after him.
So then the whole baby oil stuff, stuff, somehow they like There was
It's
something that I
GHB.
saw that they make them drink the baby oil somehow,
It's
and it
it's
causes like a
GH
pneumonia, and they
GHB.
die. Yeah,
GHB
it's
and
GHB.
GHB, the date rape drug shit, right? Okay.
Yeah, they
And
put it
it's
in baby oil bottles, then they rub it all over you, then you pass out. And then I'm sorry, did you hear about the hard-boiled egg test?
Oh yeah, that was with what's his
That
face?
was Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
So apparently the
yeah,
hard-boiled
yeah,
egg
yeah.
test,
I did. Yeah, I did. Where they gotta anally insert it.
you got to put it
without
in your
breaking
butt,
it.
and if the shell breaks, you're not ready.
Yeah, it's gnarly. It's just gnarly stuff. It's just like gross.
I was like, what the kind of what?
Yeah,
why-
I
that's
saw
why-
a picture. Listen, I just that, and I didn't even think about it at the time. And now that you reminded me of that, that explains this picture I just ran across before I ran into this. That had a picture of Russell Brand standing there with P Diddy holding a fucking egg.
Holding an
An
egg.
egg.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
Oh no,
I know. It just keeps going.
Macaulay Culkin, like
mean-
all of that. I feel so bad. And did you see all the video of them like walking off planes and stuff, and they just can't walk?
Yeah, I
Yep.
know.
I'm sorry,
it's
like
sad, dude. Well, let me start this real quick and
Yeah,
I'll be
do it. Yep,
Seized footage from Sean Diddy Combs' notorious parties allegedly feature Hillary Clinton in scenes that will upend the political establishment in Washington, D.C. and send shockwaves around the world. Diddy now sits in prison, fearful that he will not survive long enough to face his day in court, while rumors circulate that Hillary is anxious that she'll be the next powerful figure to be exposed. Whistleblowers, including those closest to Diddy and the Clintons, are coming forward with damning evidence of sex crimes and crimes against children involving Hollywood stars, famous athletes, and DC elites. Hillary has survived countless scandals, but this time there's no covering it up. The tide has turned, the truth is being laid bare, and it's about to rock the entire system to its core. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of the world's first ever cyber nation that truly believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of your dreams. Visit joson.com and click the Join Us button today. It's completely free. A lawsuit by Lil Rod revealed that Diddy has a stash of party tapes, secretly recorded with hidden cameras throughout his mansions, featuring numerous high-level politicians, athletes, and entertainment industry figures in homosexual acts and other compromising positions, including underage sex and even murder. Now, Diddy is facing life behind bars and plans to use these tapes to strike a deal, potentially exposing numerous celebrities who are associated with him. While this might help Diddy, it could spell trouble for Hillary Clinton, who is known to be among those implicated. Dan Bongino worked on Hillary Clinton's security detail in New York in the 90s, and he says the case is much bigger than people realize.
The Sean Combs case is bigger than you think. Not a case about an entertainer. This case is a big deal. Why did I tell you that? Because, folks, I worked with the Clinton detail for a long time up in New York when she was running for Senate. And they hung around with this whole crowd. That's right. Oh, look, dailymail.com. Diddy's bodyguard says there are tapes of politicians at freak-offs and claims the rapper learned this from other music moguls. Really? Did I say that the other day, fellas, that there may be more? Do you remember that show? You P1s, remember that?
On Tuesday, Texas Attorney Tony Busby, representing 120 individuals, held a press conference, revealing that the accusers are nearly evenly split by gender, span over 30 years, and include 25 minors. Shockingly, one of those minors was just 9 years old at the time of the alleged abuse.
The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases.
Did you catch that? Just like Jeffrey Epstein, Diddy was not acting alone. He was perpetrating these crimes against young people and children as young as 9, along with a host of household names and prominent politicians. The jig is up, and many of them are set to spend the rest of their lives behind bars.
People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear.
Shit, that stupid ass Chrissy Teigen. She wasn't scared. They asked John Legend at that some kind of gala, and they're on the red carpet there, and it says
They were
"Where's
just
she?"
talking wide open. They were just saying it.
They deleted all of their text, their Twitter messages,
yeah.
all of them. Chrissy Teigen is not a nice person.
I don't think she's really a she either.
Chrissy Teigen, they are not a nice person.
I mean, she had some really bizarre tweets out there about, just I can't wait to get my pedo.
I mean, Sav, if
I
you-
should be arrested because I'm watching babies and splits and shit. Like that's the
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
he said.
if you think about like the actual power grip of power, actually, it's like, how do you embarrass somebody in front of the public? And pedophilia is probably the purest power tool that there is, and that's what it just makes sense. It's not me being hyperbolic. It's just like, how do you get your hands around someone's balls, or vice versa? You get them in a position where they're embarrassed in front of their fellow human beings, and it makes total sense from a base perspective that this is how the world is run. Is you get
one of the number one people he said he'd put on a list for any party was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Right?
there a lot of these
That's,
cats they're indoctrinated into it, and that's just the only thing they've ever known. That's the thing we tend to forget is if you're brought up in that reality, you don't know any different. You're just this is what we do. This is what we've always done. It's just like again,
It's normal.
yeah, it's the old story of Cain and Abel. It's like like Cain, he lies because it's in his nature to lie. If you wanted to go from the very basic nature of the yin and yang, they only know how to lie. They don't even know what truth is. They don't know what that is, and actually being able to get their arms around it. That's the toughest part of this whole thing. Is like you've got a bunch of people that they don't even understand what telling the truth is, and they are indoctrinated into that. Call it over the course of generations. You can wax biblical. Sorry, I'm going to use wax biblical. I say that, but like if you want to go biblical with it, that the father of lies, they don't know any better than to lie. They
But what
don't
if
know any difference.
But what if the liars actually believe that the other person who's talking is not telling the truth?
I don't think they think that. I think they
But what
actually
if they
just know
believe that the other
lies.
person who is telling the truth is actually lying?
What
So
do you
that
think?
would give them justification to lie.
What do you think, Soph? Like if you're a
Well, I
liar,
think
you're a
it
born
kinda-
liar, you just always lie.
I
Is that
think
what it
that
is?
they kind of go along. There was a glimpse into that, and I thought it was interesting. An episode of Seinfeld one time, I think it went on to about how to beat a lie detector test. And George, who was a constant liar, right?
Right.
He told Jerry, looked at him real earnestly, and he says, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
So they choose to believe their own lie.
Yes.
And just that operates as in a truth in their own world. So it's truth to them.
What's the best method of acting? Method acting, right? Like where you're immerse yourself into the character. You believe you are the character that you're playing, right?
Yeah,
That's
you live as the
that's how they live, man.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah.
hurts a lot of people that actually deal in truth. Whatever a truther is, man. I only believe in what I can measure. That's what I know I'm a musician, so I know that I have to hit a G chord at this point, A minor here. I know that's measurable. I know that if I go out and measure, curvature, I believe in what I can measure because my eyes are telling me the truth. If you convince yourself that no matter whether or not you're telling the truth or not, you convince yourself of something, then you feel like it's the truth. And this is indoctrination within, like, I guess, probably generations of people that I call it whatever you want to call it, ball worship, or, just being essentially a narcissist liar. You wouldn't know any better. you wouldn't know. You would like, I'm doing the right thing because my parents told me this, or my grandparents told me this is
Right.
this is how we make sausage.
It brings us to like the Elites, okay? These people that become politicians and that.
Right.
They go to different schools than you do. They don't learn. What they actually learn is how to blend in and try to act like you, so that you'll trust them in order to give them these positions of power and influence. That's all.
Yeah, and you actually
if you really look at it, Donald Trump has a good PR. Okay, that's basically what he's got. Good PR. That's all. Because in reality, he's a turd. He is. He's a turd. He's bombastic. He's hyperbolic. He's not a good businessman. Good businessmen don't have to declare bankruptcy multiple times. Okay. He's not a good husband and father because he's been married multiple times. Okay. There's just all the things that they put out for, as that he absolutely is not. But because of this PR that he's got put out there on him, these people there's people out there believe he's like Jesus. And it's it's amazing how people will put their faith into something like that they saw on a tube. You know, you saw the dude on a tube. That's the only time you know him is when he's acting his part. This is why people, and I fell victim to that before even, because I always thought, yeah, wow, Robert De Niro. I've always liked what he plays. You know, I like Robert De Niro, you know. And then I heard him speak and I thought, what a fucking utter retard. Now everything I watch with him in it, I'm going, that dude's a retard, man.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. What you run into, like especially since that stunt in 2020, is you can actually figure out who's controlled and who isn't. And, and what we're at now is like dude, I'm not gonna lie, like I want this place, this little land place that we live in, to be better. You could call me MAGA for that matter. I want this place to be better. I want everybody in here to
everywhere to be good.
Yes, everyone to be good. Right. And it's like what troubles me in no instance, like I don't like that Trump he basically gave himself over to Judaism, and like a lot of Q people would be like, no, he's just inside. He's just an inside job guy. He's just faking to be Judeo-Christian or whatever. And I'm like, okay, all right. So like, when do we get to prove that? When do we get to know that he's actually just an inside guy pretending to be Judeo-Christian?
Well,
which is really like
looking at what can this guy do for me?
Right.
Or for my political identity.
They're voting for, well, I would think that most people in their real good classic consciousness would vote with their wallet. How's my life? Is my life better with this guy or worse? Okay. You can play that all night long, right? But it's like, I mean, the lengths that he went to get the voting public, including serving himself over to the Hasidic Jews, the synagogue of Satan, the whole thing there. It's really hard for me to understand if he's that far underground and inside of it, you know, just as a thinking individual. I'm like, it's kind of gross. It's kind of gross. I'm like, did you go that far? Are you really that far underground and inside to like?
You want me to tell you how I know that he has no intention of making America great?
Fire away.
Okay. I haven't heard him say shit about going after and ending the Federal Reserve.
You mean the guys that print money?
Until we go back to an honest monetary system of our own based on intrinsic wealth, then nothing is going to change. Because until then, that's who's got both sides. Okay. That's who's got both sides. They're just administrators of a fucking bankruptcy.
Well, I mean, even
since 1933.
Yeah, well, 1913, I think.
No, 1933 it was declared bankruptcy. This is when they finally implemented Uniform Commercial Code to replace our
Constitution. Saab, even if we want to boil it down even more, to a very basic level, the energy is like the exchange of energy is right now it's fiat, right? So like your description of you walking around hauling, say, a rock down the street is purported in a piece of paper. Yeah. So like this is the economy of motion. Yeah. And so like ye who controls energy, which would be the central bank, they're controlling all the energy of the entire place we live in. They're hoarding it. They're lying about how much fucking currency is in the circulation. They have guys who control, call it inflation or whatever. They lie about the fact how much is going on there. They can print as much money as they want to. The average person walking down the street, they don't know how much their sandwich is going to cost. They just buy it. They don't know. You ask the average person walking down the street about inflation or whatever, they will not know shit about it. Nothing. That is the energy principle. The minute they put the meters on, firing up your lights, your refrigerator, your everything else, they put a meter on it. They control the energy. That's the source of everything. That's the Rothschild thing. It's everything else.
Well, that's why I say that's how I know that they have no intention on fixing shit.
No, they didn't.
There's only ever been one presidential candidate who ran on one of his one of the planks in his platform was to audit and dismantle the Federal Reserve, and that was Ron Paul.
Yeah, and I would even speak to Ron Paul, and that even him probably had a placeholder in saying that just so they had a position in that on the chessboard. I mean, it really is your energy. Like what is your energy worth to you? How much work did you do today to produce some food for yourself? And
right, but the point of the matter is that there's no substance to the energy.
Yeah, unless you're producing your own food, unless you're producing your own.
In order to obtain wealth, one must first have to be able to have tangible wealth. Now, the paper money is not the problem, okay, or the certificates representing a certain amount of wealth that you hold, but as long as that paper can be turned back into whatever it's based off of, for instance, $1 of silver, okay,
which is
you should be able to redeem that piece of paper representing $1, okay, then you should be able to get that amount of silver. If you have certificates or paper money, if you want to call it that, those represent a certain amount of these valuable metals that you own.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are kept away. And then if I give that to someone, they can go and cash that in at the bank for more, or, to take part of my gold that comes off my balance. What they've done is they've learned how to turn paper into gold.
They usurped the actual value of anything that's valuable.
Right.
And that goes way back to the original assumption. Is like, is there any gold in Fort Knox? They can tell you there's a ton of gold there, but guess what?
There's shit in there.
I don't think there's shit in there either. Like,
when was the last time they were in there? In 1972, I think.
Nobody knows. Nobody fucking knows. That's
I remember
the whole fucking thing.
This, probably 15 years ago or so. And I was looking into this, and I was like, I saw the thing. They let some reporters and a few people from Congress go to look at the gold in Fort Knox. And even then, they only got to see one room that had the gold in it. And it was really small. And I remember seeing the picture of all these people standing around all these bars of gold. And they had this, they looked insane. They all looked insane.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's that gold fever.
And can we
get around a large amount of gold like that, man? It fucking does something to you.
Yeah. Can we stretch our arms on this a little bit? I think it's really valuable to talk about this. It's like, I truly believe in my heart of hearts that the true value, the true currency is our hearts, like everybody's hearts, our life force. Because we're the ones walking around doing stuff. We're the ones walking around making art. We're the ones walking around doing work. We're the ones walking around creating things. That's the real worth of everything. A piece of paper means nothing. A piece of gold, yes, it's really good. It's really good at translating electricity through gold, copper, whatever. There's some value in that, right? There's a lot of this stuff but really the gold is in your heart, and you can't store that in a bank vault. You can't store that
A cyber
in
nation
anything.
that truly believes.
Sorry. I don't know.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right. I'm just trying to.
I was ranting, but like, yeah, but the real value is human energy, and like you as a person, like, and again, I'm gonna just throw out a quick
Away from
rant
the
here,
crowd.
as I think that there are people in this realm that we live in that can't get out of it, and
This
they have
wild-
to use us. They have to use us to get what they want out of it. They have to manipulate us to get what they want out of it. I think we've done this rant before with you, you know, but it's like protect your heart. Your heart's where your work gets done, and what you do, what you want to do, what you love to do, whether it's music, art, doing, if you're a farmer, whatever it is that you're doing, it's in here. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want what's in your heart.
Yeah.
And if you can step back and give them the big Heisman, you know, you've won the battle already. You already have. Anyway, that's my rant. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Let me see. I think I'm back where I was at on this.
Most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against.
Household names are about to be exposed as part of the elite paedophile cabal. According to one of the victims, who has joined the civil action against Sean Combs, Hillary and Bill Clinton are set to face the wrath of justice.
I was at this wild ass Diddy party way back in 2016, and let me tell you, I ain't never seen nothing like it. It was supposed to be all glitz and glamour, but things took a crazy turn real quick. So Hillary was running for president that year, and she was there looking all polished and put together at first. She was mingling and taking selfies, including with me, because at that time I thought she was my homegirl. But after a while, she started acting real strange. I saw her pull away from the crowd looking like she was on a mission or something. Curiosity got the best of me, so I followed her and her girl Huma into this dimly lit room. They had a few folks with them, and let me tell you, the vibe was off. They was all laughing too loud, and it felt like they were tripping on something. I thought maybe they was just having a good time, but nah, it went downhill from there, fast. I watched as Hillary pulled out a little bottle of something red and started passing it around. I was shocked. They was drinking blood right there in front of everybody. It was like they didn't even care who saw. Huma was right there with her, egging her on, laughing like it was all fun and games. Things got weirder when I noticed some folks whipping out their phones to record. They was making a spectacle of it, and Hillary was loving the attention, acting like it was all part of the show. But in her eyes, there was something dark, like she was ready to do anything to keep that power. As the night went on, the laughter turned to shouting. I overheard them talking with Diddy about how to spin the media and manipulate the public. It was clear they was strategizing about their next moves while they was indulging in all this madness. But the craziest part? Hillary started yelling at Huma, talking about bringing a kid in the room and showing who's in charge. It was like a threat, and you could feel the tension in the air. I got ushered out the room right when they was bringing in this kid. Couldn't have been no more than 4 years old. Cute little white boy. Looked just like that kid from the Gerber baby food ads. I ain't see what happened, but I heard the screams. That kid didn't make it out of that room alive. By the time the party wrapped up, I was just trying to process what I'd experienced. It was hard to believe that someone who's supposed to lead could act like that. That night opened my eyes to the fact that beneath all that shine and fame, there's a whole lot of darkness.
Hillary and Bill Clinton have been hiding in plain sight for decades.
Yes, Huma and Huma Abedin, whatever her fucking name is.
He was like her chief of
That's
staff.
Wiener.
Dark stuff. It's dark stuff.
That's
and
Anthony Weiner's wife and Hillary Clinton's aide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same one that's supposedly in that video. I don't
I mean,
know.
they've been dancing around this stuff for a lot of years. Like,
I know.
you could see it. It's kind of twisted the way they've managed to skip the stone to make it seem like less and less, prominent in the narrative that they're describing. But like, I mean, I never thought of myself like years ago that I would actually be talking about this kind of shit. But it's like, again, I'll go back.
Let's not go. Can we talk about Justin Bieber? I'm
but
sorry. Let's not
Justin
go back.
Bieber is not any
Justin
better.
Bieber. Okay, he's been singing about this shit for years.
Yeah.
I remember listening to his lyrics as my little sister was a fan of his, and I was like, "What in the fuck is going on in this?" Then I fast forward a few years. I'm in New York. I'm working at a magazine. Trump, Diddy, all of them. This is not anything that was. It's not surprising to me because 15 years ago I was working in PR, in editorial. This was well known. You don't go to a Diddy party. You don't. The white parties, they had all this stuff. I didn't know about the whole blood stuff and everything until kind of recently. I guess maybe I didn't realize that is what it was, but
they had another
it's
story solved.
fucked up.
There was don't go to Diddy parties. Also, like back in the day, there's a bunch of undercurrent of don't go to the Bush's place in Washington. It was the same story. It was don't go to that party if you even want to sort of survive. Stay away from the Bushes.
Yeah.
Stay away from P. Diddy. Probably stay away from Epstein. Again, I'm in New York, so I'm north of them like an hour or two. So
no, you're not. You're in New York. So Ivana Trump, their house that they lived in is literally backs up to Trump's house,
which
so
is a whole other story.
71st and 72nd and Madison. I've been to that house. I had to go to take photos of Ivana Trump's wedding presents when she married her personal trainer, and that's actually a really funny story. But I was like, wow, this is right by Epstein's place.
Listen, they're all involved with this shit, including Trump. I guarantee it.
Including Trump. And I mean, I can't stand Trump, but I want to believe that he is the savior and he's going to expose all of it and expose the swamp
I doubt
and
he
do all
does
those
anything
things.
like that.
But something, I want to feel it. I think JFK Jr. is alive. Princess Diana is alive. All of those conspiracies are cracking me up. But I don't think it's true.
Yeah.
I really think they're all part of the same club, and they're literally moving hurricanes to fuck flat Earth.
That was really well put. I was gonna say, the level of I call it PsyOptober because we're in an election year. So there's going to be an unleashing of tons of stories. Nothing's really changed for the rest of us. As far as all of us who can just kind of use our eyes and look at the world and say well, this is kind of weird. Nothing's changed. We got about 3-4 weeks before the election, and PsyOptober is in full form. So there's going to be deflection to deflection to deflection. I mean, if you actually walked yourself back 4 years and watch what has happened in the last 4 years, it's been a full-on explosion of psyops.
Listen, that's what I wanted to say, man. It's this is what I can't get is time is whipping by, right?
Yeah.
So I had to go get a new battery today for my Jeep. I had to go up and get a new battery for my Jeep. And I was certain that it was still under warranty. It had a 3-year warranty on it. It's still under warranty. And I'm like, well, fuck yeah. So I took it up there. Dude punched my name and phone number into the computer. Boom, there it comes. There's the thing. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been 5 fucking years. I thought it was only just a couple of years ago I went and got that battery. And I'm like, fuck it.
2020 accelerated some sort of thing, at least in my mind, where I'm like, are you serious? A lot of us just in 2020, we were like, are you kidding me? And now we're still right. Almost 5 years later, And there are people walking around. I call them zombies, call them NPCs, whatever you want. They're like, well, that never happened. I'm like, where are you? Are you really here? Or are you just a part of this matrix system designed to like not to deflect me from my common sense? Like, really?
Okay, seat fillers.
Yeah,
Okay?
something like that.
All right, you know that like when they have awards shows and shit like that, and they don't have enough people invited really to it, like stars and shit, to fill all the seats, they have people that they pay to sit in the empty seats.
Yeah.
They have people that they pay to sit in the empty seats. They have nothing to do with the event at all. They're just paid to dress up and sit in the seat for the event.
Yeah.
And they do this all over the place. And I think that, so my point is, I think there's like these seat fillers, you know, that are here just for like the scenery, just to make it seem like this is more than what it really is. And also because we're trained to be consensus based. Okay, we go by what everybody else thinks, right? Well, everybody knows the earth is round. Everybody knows this, that, and the other. Everybody knows this, right? And it's like, okay, so they're part of that everybody knows crowd. Everybody knows, look, I'm vaccinated. Oh, everybody knows I had it. Everybody knows those are those people. Those are those fucking people.
Yeah. And they literally believe they take the downloads. That's what it is. They take the downloads. And that's what we're up against. And like, again, you know, I'm a big supporter of people taking their own journey. And like, because if I stole someone's journey, especially the flat earth journey, if I stole that from them, it would take away the fruits of their journey. So the only thing I can do is like, look, I'm not going to tell you how to take this one. I'm not going to tell you how to take your spiritual journey. What I will do is I'll show you a shortcut. We already did the heavy lifting. Go that way. There's a door. Go through it. There's nothing else I can do for you. I cannot convince you of any of this shit. But it's so clear to at least our community, like over the course of 10 years now, that we kind of like broke the code. Do we know everything? No, we don't. You know, your spiritual journey is yours and yours alone. I will never steal that from you. But up to flat earth, we got it figured out. And especially this whole did you see the data from the planes going to airports? I mean, that one just annihilates the globe. Annihilates the globe. And so like that one's already done. We're already finished with that. The globe is dead. Right now it's just like, now it's your spiritual journey, guys. It's yours and yours alone. I will never say anything about it.
Hold on. You know what I found? I didn't go out trying to tell everybody that the earth was flat. Okay. What I found was a lot of people came to me to try to convince me that it wasn't. And I thought that was rather interesting.
It's curious, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually how my whole doing this on YouTube started. I was talking about it completely other shit, right? And somebody saw my Gleason's map in the background and then started asking if I was a flat earther. And I said, well, yeah, why wouldn't I be?
I mean, what's fascinating?
You're an idiot. And I was like, well, wait a minute. About 20 minutes ago, you couldn't tell me how great I was. And now I'm an idiot because of that. That's really, let's discuss it. And they don't like that because I take it around to the logical, let's see, what do you got besides a fairy tale? I mean, let's do some demonstrable experiments.
I mean, how do you unconstruct someone's religion? Like, it's really difficult. Like we were all heliocentrists for a long time.
Study cult deprogramming.
Yeah, you got to walk it back, and like at the same time, here my biggest thing was always, I don't want to take away from the fruits of actually going through the flat Earth awakening from anybody. I'm like, here's the door. You have to make the choice to walk through it. I cannot force you through that thing. But like for me, what happened for me was literally life changing. Like I'm a kid again. I'm a kid again in all of this. Like everything is new, everything is magical, everything is fucking great, you know. And it ain't a cult. Any of you motherfuckers out there listening to this, it ain't a cult. You can go out and check it for yourself. You can go out and measure it for yourself. You find out for yourself. You're going to get a bunch of really cool shit out of this. I've been trying to not preach it, but it's just like, come on, man, just go for it. Go for it.
If you come down to just like I've tried to, I've gotten with people, and I say, well, if you had never been told, what would make you think that? And that's really a great question. And the question's more for them, not for me. I already know the answer.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll scramble for a reason. And one of the first things will be is probably one of the most rudimentary questions that they asked an adult when they were a child. Where does the sun go at night? Because they always jump on that sunset and sunrise. Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. That's because your parents or whoever you asked that to told you that fucking bullshit. And that's why you jump at that as the very first one. But anyway, we'll get on flat earth here in just a minute. Let's finish with this thing here. This is interesting because more and more, somebody in the chat said that they had seen the alleged tape from the Wiener laptop too. The Frazzle, whatever.
That's a tough one.
Finally, get their comeuppance. There is plenty of evidence to suggest they've flown too close to the sun and are about to come crashing down to Earth. We've got the news after this important word from our sponsor.
All right. Well.
Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. They live inside your body. There have been studies.
Median life expectancy.
Please, who was passed around like a piece of meat in Hollywood. It makes complete sense when one of this fantastic offer. And in the entertainment industry, 256-664-4170 to take advantage of this fantastic offer.
There we go.
Monarch mind control is rampant in the entertainment industry, where trauma and humiliation is an integral part of the process of breaking down and keeping control of slaves. While this concept might seem far-fetched, it makes complete sense when one understands the mindset of the elite, which is influenced by occultism and ritual drama. Just ask Justin Bieber, who was passed around like a piece of meat in Hollywood while he was still very much underage. Here he is with Odell Beckham Jr. at a Diddy party.
Oh, no, he was not.
The entertainment industry elites were flaunting.
Was he doing what I thought so that he was doing?
Yeah.
Oh, my word in heaven. Oh.
Their sick perversions right in front of the world, and nobody stepped in to protect Bieber.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. What music are you listening to?
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms? Answer Justin Bieber.
You guys never gave me the sex talk. Okay. So why don't you give me the sex talk? I feel uncomfortable right now. Oh. Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird. Oh. Let's talk about the album.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Make no mistake, the Hollywood elite have been engaging in pedophilia and ritual abuse for decades. The only difference is that they have become better at covering it up. How? By completely infiltrating the mainstream media. Case in point, here is a mainstream news report from 2013. The media would not dare to report on anything like this today. Instead, they spend their time and resources writing ridiculous fact checks and astroturfing on community notes to shoot down anybody who dares to report on the truth.
Some serious allegations this morning facing the State Department.
That's right. According to internal State Department memos, the agency might have called off or intervened in investigation into possibly illegal and inappropriate behavior within its ranks, allegedly to protect jobs and avoid scandals. This concerns the time that Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. We want to get right to NBC's chief White House correspondent, Chuck Todd, with the latest. Chuck, good morning to you.
Good morning, Savannah. You know, there's an old saying in Washington that the cover-up is worse than the crime. But in this case, both parts of it are disturbing. Allegations of prostitution and pedophilia, and allegations that those crimes were somehow covered up or not looked into.
Hey, stop.
So the
Can
State
you
Department this
pause
morning
it for a
is
second?
having to respond to those claims and those investigations of misconduct by State Department officials, including by an ambassador and security agents attached to then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And the
Does that guy have a bottom jaw?
Here's the bugger of the whole thing. Like, number one, we know it's going on. They're playing both sides too, A, but B, the bigger thing is they're now selling out their lower hanging fruit. In other words, this is what this is. In other words, all the guys reporting on it, the people that are visual, they're basically using their pawns. So that would be, Hillary Clinton, who's just a pawn. Everybody that's actually visual is a pawn.
Well,
they're selling them all out now.
I think that some of these bigger ones are actually higher level pieces, but you when you're playing chess, also, you don't just lose pawns. Sometimes you have to sacrifice some valuable pieces.
What would you consider? What would you consider? Say Hillary Clinton and or P. Diddy and or Epstein? Like, would you call them like second level? Like sacrificing them?
I would call this more of a putting them out to pasture, because let's not forget, somebody's going to fill that void.
Right.
Okay. There's nothing being done to prevent a filling of that void.
Right.
So,
I mean, who's left? Who's left? And that's really the big question. I think that everyone is dying to answer. And I got a lot of ideas, but
they both go hand in hand, Hollywood as well as DC. They've been connected. Look at the Sinatra fucking Kennedy connection.
Right.
Look at that. And then how Sinatra started getting pissed off because Kennedy started snubbing him. He even built he built the dude a special place to stay to have him come out there, and then Kennedy snubbed him and didn't go.
So do you want to cover like the real question in the room, the elephant in the room?
What's
What is
that?
Kendall Jenner,
Who's in charge?
Ashley, Chloe, and
Who's in charge? We already know who's in charge. The Shaitan is in charge.
The starts with an S, ends with an N.
Yeah, the Shaitan. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
No, we
Can we talk about Michelle LeMay?
Yeah, she's a player.
No, she's not. She's not just a player. She's no.
Okay.
She's the
Do you know
Harvard
about
player.
do you know about Michelle LeMay?
Michelle LeMay? She's Jason Owens.
It's just another
wife.
player.
No,
It's just another
she's
player
not.
up the court.
She's not just a player.
So there's somebody. Would be somebody that's above, the black-haired Satanist who does the blood cooking, and what's her
She's
name?
literally above her.
Abramovich.
Maria
Is she one of the mothers of
Abramovich.
is she one of the mothers of darkness?
One of them, yeah.
So Michelle LeMay
Okay.
is the one that has like the black stained fingertips, and
Okay.
she's married to Jason Owens, who's a fashion designer, and he's like the fashion designer of the dark arts. And she draws a line in her head, and she's got gold grills, and all these celebrities, like anybody who's like Balenciaga, the Kardashians, like all of them literally are like Michelle. Supposedly
Yeah.
she was a lawyer. She's like 80 years old.
It's definitely got roots in, I don't know, even what you'd have to consider like Crowleyism.
No,
right.
Yes,
What
she
he's
is the
talking
dark
about.
art
All of this
Crowleyism.
is in that same type of genre of shit.
Mhm.
And these people, that gives them a fast track to success, a fast track to the shekels, but it keeps requiring continuous sacrifice in order to keep maintaining it. And you see this evident and this is why I say watch for Mariah to have a platinum Christmas album this year. But she lost just recently lost her mother and her sister in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Clapton, He had, performed through the 60s and the 70s, and then by the 80s, nothing, up till the early 90s after his son fell out the fucking window and died, right?
Yeah, I
And
remember
then
that.
he made that platinum album with the MTV Unplugged and the Tears in Heaven and everything. All these guys, they always have somebody close to them that ends up tragically dying somehow, and then following in the wake of that is great riches and fame. So
Yeah,
I believe there's a lot to that. I mean, I never have understood in my life, and especially in my generation, people would say, "Oh, Bob Dylan, he's like one of the greatest, man. You want to listen to some Bob Dylan?" And I'm like, "No, I cannot stand that man's voice. Everything he sings, he whines, and it's like he's and I'm like, oh, fuck that guy."
And as the book goes, and I've spent a great deal of time like looking at the other side's playbook, and I'm a fourth grader level at a lot of this stuff because I just didn't pay attention to this for all of my life. But like, it would appear as though at least the one parallel and the one thing that I've been able to see is that you either sacrifice your firstborn or you flip them. And that's the most I've learned about Ball in the last, say, I don't know, like 4 years.
Meaning of sacrifice, okay, is not just an offering, but a sacrifice is an offering of something dear to you, something that most people would not be willing to part with.
Yes.
You see, and that's where it lies, right there. That's where they find the allegiance to that. And people can say whatever they want, but there is a dark, malevolent force that rules this world right now.
If there was a positive, there's a negative. I mean, it is what it is.
It's all a choice of whether you decide you want to align yourself with it or not.
Yeah, and that kind of becomes the ultimate choice of each individual walking through this world. I mean, and again, like I understand why you'd want to bend over and go that. Like, I've been in rock bands for 20 years. Like when I was in my 20s, I was like, I would have signed a major label deal no matter what, because I wasn't an atheist, but I just didn't give a shit about spirituality at that point in time. I was like, I want to go play songs. I don't give a fuck. Let me go out and do. But now, like, with a lot of length behind me and like learning, that I understand what that is. Like, how much are you willing to give up to get what you want?
Right.
And you can see it more clearly as the days go on.
Shows the devotion to the material.
Yes.
Right. And over the spirit. And that's where you're fucking up right there.
Yes.
And not to mention, you're not supposed to fucking kill people. That's like
that's a big one.
One of the top rules,
Yeah. Don't injure anyone else. Don't
you're not supposed to don't hurt little kids and shit like that. Anyway, I think we got like maybe 5 minutes left.
The allegations are that these investigations were whitewashed, quashed altogether, and that those orders came from high up.
NBC News has obtained documents related to ongoing investigations into some disturbing allegations involving State Department personnel and at least one ambassador. A State Department memo says the ambassador, quote, routinely ditched his protective security detail in order to solicit sexual favors from both prostitutes and minor children. The memo also says a top State Department official directed department investigators to, quote, cease the investigation.
Pizzagate is real, and the elite are desperate to cover up evidence of the conspiracy. Hillary Clinton can't stop talking about it, and she's clearly living in fear of the Diddy revelations about to come out.
There will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done. I mean, look, the crazy story about me running a child trafficking operation out of a basement of a pizzeria.
She's gaslighting.
Don't laugh. This is dangerous stuff.
Except the brave journalists who reported on Pizzagate were not reporting lies. They were punished for reporting stone cold truth. Ask Ben Swan, whose career was cut short when he dared to air this segment on mainstream TV. For the record, everything he reported is 100% verifiable, and it's really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the truth about elite pedophilia.
Notice this one on the end, the triangle.
that image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle. Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alphantis, is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. Two of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and the band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there, that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alphantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate began to blow up online, he has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But an archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and words with strange and disturbing images. Oh,
yeah. And also, J'ai Alphantis in French means I love infants.
Which is really weird. I mean, this whole thing is weird.
Yeah.
Associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures. We're not even going to describe them to you because some viewers would find it too disturbing to share on TV. Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago. He was referred to by the judge as a serial child molester. According to the Washington Post, visitors to Tony Podesta's home in Falls Church got an eyeful when they walked into a bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes.
This information is being buried by a mainstream media determined to gaslight the public, and by social media platforms infiltrated by the elite to hide real news about critical issues facing humanity today. Instead of being covered up, this truth should be broadcast in schools and shared far and wide by everybody who cares about the safety of our children. Pizzagate is a real conspiracy. You only have to look at the fate of the mainstream journalist who supposedly debunked it back in 2016. An extraordinary number of these journalists and fact-checkers have been arrested on child sex crimes since they went into the effort of convincing the public that Pizzagate was nothing but a conspiracy theory. Here at The People's Voice, we are determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, spread this video.
So that's the rest of it, just advertisement. That is a good channel on X too. That is, I'll put a link down here in the chat for everybody as well.
It's not an easy topic to go into.
It's not, but I'll tell you something too.
Go into it. I mean, it's just,
that Podesta character, he had like this alter ego of Skippy that is more like a sullen teenager, pulls a hoodie up over his head, acts like a sullen teenager, and I think he's MK'd, man. I think he's an MK Ultra, and you know, this thing it perpetuates, you know, the program to become the programmers.
Yeah,
I believe.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like we're aware of it now, and it's not easily solvable in the first week or 2 weeks or everything else. I'm like, we were talking about this 4 years ago. There's some people that have been talking about it for 20 years. You know, but like, you know, the important thing is, I got to jump off your stuff, but like the important thing is we all found each other and we're all on the same wavelength, you know, as far as we talk about these subjects, we talk about our cosmology and like where we live. And nobody wants to talk about kids getting fucked. Nobody wants to talk about that. It sucks. It's a fucking horrible subject. But that we're aware of it and that we can actually acknowledge it means that we've made a huge step against what happened in the last 20 years, which no one would even talk about. Even good people who like are really good people. Like they would not talk about it. They're like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do that. I'm like, why do you not want to talk about it? It's a horrible thing happening over here. Well, they didn't understand that there's a religion in the world that relies on that. They believe in their religion just as much as, say, Christians believe in their religion, or Muslims or anything else. They follow their religion the same way that other religions follow. Their religion demands that you fucking sacrifice a kid in a golden calf. That's what their religion is. It's a Baal religion. It's true. It's real. It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. They do.
Yeah,
they do. And so, like, sorry, I do not want to go rant. Anyway, I'm gonna soften that and just say, I love you, buddy.
Wait. And before, can we just talk about the strike, the dock strike?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because there was the whole dock strike, and then there was a whole bunch of posts about this dock strike guy who has a multi-million-dollar mansion and a Bentley and all that. Did you see that?
Oh, the guy that's running
the strike, and
the strike, but the guy that's running it has a multi-million-dollar mansion.
Yes, but they want a 77% increase in wages, and now the strike has been averted until after the inauguration, till January 15th or something like that. But there was a whole bunch of posts coming out from all these dock workers who were like, the strike isn't just about the pay increase. It's about screaming kids in containers.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah, it was not
You didn't see that?
Not a good situation.
No.
Okay, so there was a whole.
So all you diggers out there, look into that.
Yeah, look into that,
Please.
because apparently, and I actually think this is tied to the Francis Key Bridge that was destroyed. That whatever happened to the bridge.
That tanker hit it?
Yeah, the tanker that hit the bridge in Baltimore.
Right.
Who's Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law is actually in charge of, because of their China stuff. But I heard back then that there were like kids in containers back then, and then it came up again.
So they were hearing voices inside of the
They were
containers,
hearing kids screaming in containers,
which is fucked up. It's
so
fucked up.
I don't know what is going on with that. So Hive Mind, internet sleuths, Hive Mind.
Yeah, go for that, guys out
deep
there, you
dive
diggers.
on that,
Figure
'cause
out what that is.
That shit's fucked up. They put these poor kids in these containers, and they make them all scared so that they can go and do the things to them. And that's beyond a lot of people's comprehension. When people wake up to this stuff, they're going to be completely like, what are you going to do when you wake up to this?
Try not to freak out.
There's nothing on Twitter about that. I'm gonna do a
Yeah,
It was on Twitter. I'll send it to you.
There's a couple items that popped up on X today. I was just like, okay.
But
Hey,
Sav,
Soph,
I missed you at Fletchoberfest.
Yeah, where were you at?
I didn't go.
I know.
I said I wasn't going.
I'm glad you captured a Mojo, like that dude. I love that dude a lot. I'm glad you captured him on his way back up.
Yeah, he got a hold of me and said, "Hey, you want to?" He said, "You up for any visitors?" And I figured, oh, he must be heading back north. And I said, "Sure, no problem."
Yeah,
And
he's a lovely individual, and the dude.
Well, I was shocked because when he pulled in, I was like, "Wait, where's his fucking trailer? Where? That's not." Hey,
No,
wait a
he
second.
hauled all that sound shit in that one truck. And he
Oh my
actually
God.
really saved the festival,
saved
Yeah,
because
that's what I
Nathan
heard.
was moving shit all around the region. We couldn't even get Nathan's shit out of the site. So anyway, we're gonna
No, Nathan got his dirt bike stolen. Nathan and I went on Wednesday to drop everything off at the venue that it was supposed to be at. So Nathan and I are unloading everything. We get everything set up. The guy from the venue is like, "Oh yeah, well, I don't know, man. It's gonna be fine." Yada yada. So we're like, "No." I'm like, "Don't manifest a hurricane." Well, the next day it poured rain all day. We couldn't get back to the venue. They were all supposed to rehearse at the venue, and then the next time we actually got to go there was on Monday.
Yeah.
the next Monday and this past Monday. And Nathan's dirt bike is gone. All of his shit was gone through. So there was like, I don't know, like neighborhood looters or something like
So
that.
The Walking Dead might be actual, predictive programming. I don't know.
It was the Blair Witch.
Hey, Sav, love you to death. Thank you for doing everything you do. We're gonna pop off.
Yeah, I'm
really
gonna
great
get off.
conversation. All you flatties out there, mwah, all you trolls.
Keep on
just
trolling.
keep trolling.
Yes,
Just keep
it
trolling. We're not afraid of you. Mwah. Bye, you love. See ya.
All
Cheers.
Abby Rock.
Later, Alex. See you, Nicole. Thanks for coming on, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here too. But yeah, we got some crazy shit going on. The hurricane, we got the war in the Middle East going on. That's some crazy shit. That's March 16th. Let's see, October 2nd. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Yeah, longshoremen strike. They find children in containers and refuse to work until we figure it out. Children trafficked in containers. All right, let me play this here real quick. I don't know what this is. It's some guy talking about it. So let's see. And there's only these two things. Those are the two under top. But let me see what that looks like.
We also have another major issue going on in our ports right now, and I just wanted to speak on it because I don't think a lot of people understand why they're striking. One of the major reasons I've been seeing coming out of videos and reports from people talking about it is that they get tired of hearing children screaming inside the containers. Yeah, you heard that right. The workers are striking, and one of the main reasons is they're tired of hearing humans being shipped over and screaming and banging on the inside of the shipping containers to get out. I understand we have a serious human trafficking issue in this country. I just did not think it was this bad. Never once did it cross my mind we need to be checking shipping containers for people. Can you imagine how long somebody's been inside of one of those, depending on how long they were waiting to dock? No heat, no air, nothing. I pray for the workers of the ports because I don't think they signed up to deal with people. Pretty sure they were just supposed to move cargo and goods. This is crazy, y'all.
That is nuts, man. That is nuts. Well, let's see. How'd our poll do? We had a poll that said, let's take a look at it here real quick. I want to show the poll. Damn it. There it is. So it said, if you could receive $10,000, but in return, a random person would die, would you take it? 3% actually said yes. And I wonder if that 3% actually, let's see, and that's out of 120 votes. So I wonder if that 3% realize that actually could be them as well. But that means that you would place a value on someone's life. Now, what if it was someone you knew that was going to die, a family member or something? Would you still take the $10,000? Oh, so then it comes down to a person's life matters of whether you know them or not, you see? So there's 3% that think that a person's life is worth $10,000 and obviously their own as well. So interesting. So anyway, I think that's all I've got for tonight. Sorry we didn't have one on our regular Tuesday night, but I was busy. I had company. And I'm glad to see that Mojo made it back to where he needed to be. I think, boy, I'll tell you, it's a lot of traveling. That's a lot of traveling. But anyway, it was wild. We had 7 dogs here in the house at one time. That was crazy, man. So that was quite the experience to have as well. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Let me see. Is there anything I got coming up that I want to tell everybody about? Nothing I can think of. If you haven't been to our new show over on Jeranism, the Reefer Roulette, I do encourage you, check it out. There are prizes. We have a little contest game that goes on. You could go over to Jeranism channel and check out one of the previous streams. Last night's was that last night? Yeah, last night's last night's was awesome. Really good topics, and it'll give you an idea as to how the contest works. And people winning money, man. People winning money, green money. And yeah, we're having a good time. So this is a lot. Oh, go on, XO. Sava's a rock star. Yeah. Thank you, though. Yeah, Saint Mojo, he went there and fixed it. And, a lot of times Mojo does shit and he doesn't get no thanks for it, and it's people are actually, a lot of times they'll act pissed off because he did something good like that, because they didn't. I don't know what it is. People always wanting the light. I don't know what the fuck it is. Anyways, not my circus, not my fucking monkeys. Anyway, I want to thank everybody that came up tonight. Everybody that showed up in the chat. Just remember, as long as you've got fish sticks, rubbers, and a getaway car, that's all you need. Keep in mind that the Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey, and see your doctor and get rid of him, because he'll probably kill you. So we'll see you next time here on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Me and my good friend Something Wong wish you a good night.
I remember when I lost my